Perfect. Okay, excellent. All right, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. I might not have a full 4 hours to go on this one. Some things are happening in the background, so we're probably going to have to wrap this up in about 3 hours. So we got about 3 hours to do all this. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the first one. The first one is we got to start where it all began. So Walter challenging Sneeko to a boxing match. This was on his podcast, A Fresh Start. Let's go ahead and listen to this. You guys confirm in the chat if the audio is good.
Bitches are better, and I'm not trying to be Muslim. So just keeping it real, bro.
That sounds a little low. Hold on. Let me see if I can. No, sounds good. All right, sounds good. 300. We'll start over.
A point to say I'm jealous of you, bro. Of what? No offense, Nico. My car's better than your car. My bitches are better, and I'm not trying to be Muslim. So just keeping it real, bro. You made your own grave, bro. This is all-
He's copying Kai Cenat with the Undertaker theme right there.
all you're doing. I didn't do shit. I just said the truth. And if you're mad at it, bro, that's all on you. And at the end of the day.
Okay, you said it's a little low. Let's see if the volume is. Maybe yeah, you know what? It is on Walter's podcast, so let's bump it up another 100. Let's bump it up to 400. Let's see if this works.
A point to say I'm jealous of you, bro.
How's that, Coke Many?
No offense, Nico. My car's better than your car. My bitches are better, and I'm not trying to be Muslim. So just keeping it real, bro. You made your own grave, bro. This is all you're doing. I didn't do shit. I just said the truth. And if you're mad at it, bro, that's all on you. And at the end of the day, just keeping it real here, bro. I know what you need, bro. You need a rebrand because you fucked it up, nigga. Keeping it real. So this is how we can handle this shit, bro. Boxing ring.
In the ring.
Aiden Ross event. We'll make it happen. And of course, this is me just keeping it real. And let's.
Oh, wait, hold on. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see this in the corner. VillaTube is in the corner of the chat. He says, please, can I get tickets? Look at that. I just caught that. So yeah, I guess he wants to get tickets to this fight. Well, let's that's a little interesting detail that I just saw with you guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next one is actually Sneeko's response. So let's go ahead and listen to this one. And this, I believe he's making this from Mecca right now. So, yeah, good eye. I didn't even recognize that when I was gathering all these videos and stuff, but I just saw that just now. I'm like, oh, okay, there he is. So we know that as far as the fight, they want to do it at, I guess, like brand risk. They want Aiden Ross to kind of like organize the whole thing. And, you know, if Fresh is going to get involved, it's going to be anything similar to the Abba and Preach fight. At least in those conditions, that there has to be money that needs to be put up and everything to get everything started. They don't want to fight for free. So we can kind of already look from the past and apply it to it right now that, you know, it's probably going to go pretty much the same way, at least in terms of organization. So let's see what Sneeko has to say about this.
The great chances of being here with two accomplished boxers, Slim and Adam Saleh, right when it's time to throw. My prediction, niggas not fighting, bro. Niggas are backing out. Calling out, not fighting. But I'm going to train. I'm ready to go. April 11th, April 13th. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. But let's be real. Think about quit.
Well, so there has been a couple of videos that have surfaced, at least on Reddit, about Walter not being a fighter. I believe that was a quote from Myron during the time of, I think after the confrontation that happened with Allende, coming to the door, like, you know, trying to have a talk with Myron and Myron drawing his pistol and stuff like that. Walter, I remember he had said something about like Walter, you know, he's not a fighter. And then there was another clip that surfaced that we're going to watch later that was on grilling that was put up by another person of Length or Girth. So shout out to these guys on Length or Girth, man. These guys are working overtime. But there was a trailer that was put out for the fight. and let's go ahead and watch it. This is on YouTube. Think about this. Think about this channel. Let's check it out.
Yeah, you know you look like the Goomba from Super Mario Brothers.
Think about this.
Former friends turn foes as Sneeko takes on Fresh for the fight of their lives. A change in the winds in the Miami skies. Instead of 304s in podcasting, they find themselves in a unique position.
Point to say I'm jealous of you? Proof what? My car's better than your car. My bitches are better. And I'm not trying to be Muslim.
Brand risk boxing.
But you're not doing anything about it. Just like you.
Perhaps for a final collab, but this time in the ring.
Think about it.
Think about this.
Aiden's goofy face in the middle of all this because he's organizing it. This is I mean, it was a very quick edit. You know, you got to admit it was. It didn't really make Walter. It didn't flatter him too much. You know, I think let's go back a little bit. They had to do the body shot. Yeah, there's your opponent right there. I can't wait for the weigh-in and this whole thing if they're actually going to go through with it. It's crazy. This is just like I can't wait. I cannot wait to see, dude. But yeah, so that's the trailer. They made the trailer. So let's go forward. So now a guy posted in Reddit. He's like, "You guys, I called it. Walter is backing out already. Look at both screenshots." So let's go ahead and look at this. This is from Aiden Ross. He says, "We got you the money you asked. We asked Chris, like your manager said, what's the word, bro? I called Eddie. He gave us his blessing on the cash you wanted. I got nothing against you, but everyone seems to want this fight except you. Let's lock in for April 11th. And Walter replied, "Your team spreading lies to Sneeko or Sneeko lying ain't cool. I'll do a podcast about this and get back to you, G. Not professional." So I'm not really too sure what to make of that. And then Aiden responds, "Huh? Who's spreading lies? We legit got you the number. Then your team said ask Chris for Rumble from Rumble. He gave his blessing. So what's the wait now?" So let's see. Actually wasn't. Oh, sorry. We just saw the. That was actually the second page. This is the first page. So Walter says, "Yes, gossip and lies behind the scenes messed up this fight. And again, Sneeko ran out of content and ruined a good deal. Not the first deal he fucked up." And then under Sneeko Daily, it says, "Sneeko receives a text from Chris Pavlovsky exposing that Fresh is allowed to fight on brand risk. You got to find a new excuse." So I don't know what do we make of this? Walter's already finding ways to weasel out of this, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. There is more. Let me find it real quick because yeah, this is so Sneeko calls out Walter for ducking the fight. Let's put the volume up on this one.
And we're gonna go train right after this. You picked the wrong time. And I heard through the grapevine, trying to duck already. One day. And
Coke Manny says he's scared. Yeah, you can't talk all this mess on the internet and not back your words. But you know, this isn't the first time he's backed out of a fight. So, I mean, this is just a pattern at this point.
to calling me out publicly, trying to run away. You don't want to pick a fight with someone like me, man. You don't want to do it. Just admit. Don't try to say Chris from Rumble's not going to let you do it. Chris from Rumble will let you fight. All right, don't use excuses and try to talk about. Don't do that. It's either you fight or you don't want to. You're scared. Just admit you're scared. Don't try to come up with some excuse. The CEO of Rumble. Shut up. No one believes you. All right. Just back out if you don't want to do it. I'll find someone else because I'm ready to go. And even if you do back out, I'm still training. I'm still ready.
Yeah, this is not a good look, guys. This is not looking good for Fresh.
Phone call.
So this is the hold on. This is the clip that surfaced from grilling from I guess when Fresh did this probably about a year ago. But this was posted about an hour ago. And yeah, that's Gian, I believe. And yeah, this is Fresh talking about if a man wants to fight you, or I guess if a man wants to take your girl and stuff like that, you know, what would you do? How would you defend her honor? So this is Fresh's answer. Let's listen.
No matter what, make a phone call. He's out of there.
Would you fight?
Fight now.
You wouldn't fight.
No, he'll be taken care of, and then we're good. I'm a peaceful guy, very humble, very relaxed. But you make the wrong movements, I make a phone call, it's dealt with. That's all I gotta say. You know what I mean?
What would you do if?
So there you go, guys. Walter's obviously been watching way too much Sopranos. Maybe Goodfellas. He thinks he's Italian now. He thinks he can just make a phone call and take care of all of his problems. But I mean, this is a very public thing that he has walked himself into, and now he's going to have to either put up or shut up. And I mean, he's going to go on his podcast and explain everything. And hopefully he has a good story, but I mean, public perception is pretty much going to have already control the whole narrative, is that he likes to talk out of his ass. And he's been doing this. He does a lot of talk, but he doesn't have any real proof of anything, and or no real action. So it's not looking good. Not looking good for Mr. Walter Weeks. But so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This is actually something that I wanted to this happened on, I think, Friday, yesterday. This was the call-in show. And I gotta say, dude, actually, before we go to that, before I go back, let's go. There was one more thing I wanted to show you guys of that. Let me go back.
That's exactly what
I think it's,
It's
Walter. Where is he?
so we had an event.
I'd rather watch Fresh.
I think, I should have. Oh, okay, yeah, here it is. So Walter, he made a post. Or no, Fresh Updates made a post. That's the Glaze page for Walter. And it says, even Fresh's update page is retarded. So he made a poll, question mark. The first choice is, who wins in a fight? The second choice is, Fresh or Sneeko? I'm not sure, like, how this is supposed to work. Let me see if I can click on this so you can be... So yeah, what choice would you guys make? Who wins in a fight? Fresh or Sneeko? This guy doesn't know how to make a poll. I mean, it's actually hilarious that he did it this way, because it only makes sense. Only Fresh. Excuse me. All right, so yeah, and this is a Sneeko update. It says Aiden Ross confirms Sneeko versus Fresh at Brand Wrist Boxing. Also wants DDG versus Myron. We don't know if that. I think Myron went on his channel, Myron Gaines X, and already addressed this, that he will not fight DDG because of the height differential. And yeah, so he said he won't. Myron won't fight. So that is that. Let me see if there's anything else on this.
Your friend's Myron.
Okay, yeah, let's go. Let's go to the hater that called in on Friday. And you guys, I gotta let you guys know, when I heard this, and I hope the stream doesn't get taken down. If it does, let me know. This was the hater that called in on Friday, and it doesn't go the full 42 minutes. The first few callers that come in, whatever, they're pretty brief. But when this guy comes in, I swear, man, this guy called in like last Friday, and yeah, he ripped Walter a new one, and he did very well on this one. And I had to comment on the video. I was like, dude, I feel like a proud father listening to this. This is probably I remember he came back, he wasn't as prepared the first time, but he definitely got his act together on this one. So let's listen to it.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Kershnick. Yeah, I'm not FBA, but I just called in to say, Myron, I like how you kick the FBA's ass, how you kick FBA people's asses online. I love it. They need to have their asses kicked. And, yeah, I mean, I just think that too many of them are just leeching off the country. And people like Tariq Nasheed, they're full of shit, they're grifters, and they need to be called out. So I love how you call them out. That's it.
Thanks for calling into the show, man. I appreciate that. Words of support.
Cook Benny says, I saw that comment camp. Yeah, man. I was pretty active on Reddit this whole evening. So, yeah. And I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good reception around this whole beef. But you know what it is, guys. It's all driving attention to Fresh's podcast. It's all. I think that's all he's doing. He's just baiting controversy so he can get people to go over to his page. And yeah, this is not going to be a good look for him because he is going to be backing out of a fight. Maybe he can find somebody who can like throw together a post from Chris Pavlovsky, whatever, saying that, oh no, like I don't allow this or something like that, when it's already been approved already. So I don't know how Fresh is going to weasel his way out of this. David, what's up, bud? Back from England. Hey, Camp from England, man. Hey, good to see you, man. Always a pleasure, man. So thank you so much for returning to the podcast. So yeah, let's keep going. I want to get to this hater, because this hater is like, dude, he's great, man. This is good.
Who's up next?
Sir.
Okay. Thank God.
You know, it's funny, that guy got all mad saying, oh, why do you tell the white girls to not date black guys? Like, the nigga's like retarded, bro.
He don't understand.
Clearly we be trolling, bro.
He don't understand jokes.
Oh, and I do need to mention that I was on the line to call in, but I never got on. I was probably on for probably about an hour, I believe, and then at one point the call got dropped, and then they restarted their call in, and then I was able to call in again, and then they ended the show. I believe they canceled after hours as well. And it was funny because after this hater called and ripped Fresh a new one, he wasn't even, he was talking to Fresh, but he was mainly talking to Myron about Fresh. And after his call was over, Myron had to go in the bathroom and just take like the biggest shit ever, because he was just like, dude, that was crazy. And you know what I'm saying is that these call-in shows are cathartic for Myron, because everything that the haters bring up, it's like Myron doesn't get to say it because he has to play the role of like business partner, loyal to a fault, would never say these things publicly. And, that's what the hater show, I call the hater shows, the call-in shows are for, to kind of relieve that stress for Myron. And I'm sure he was just celebrating. He was happy. He's like, oh, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders because the haters called in, they delivered, and I feel better now. David says, I watched this, mate, and Fresh got cooked. Bro, he got double cooked, bro. I think I commented on Reddit, he was a twice cooked pugtato. Oh, but yeah, he was 3 shades darker after this caller. So it just made me very proud.
But
so sensitive.
America's probably doomed, bro. At this point.
And Fresh hates these call-in shows, man. It really is like a humiliation ritual. I'm now in the camp that Myron does enjoy these, and Fresh is just like, I just have to endure this,
All right, who's up next?
You got 9829, you're up. 9829, you're up.
Guys, let's get the likes up, man. Let's get to 3,000 likes, and then just... All right, what's up?
Yo, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yo, y'all can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, Myron, this is Alchemist, How y'all doing here?
The Somalian pirate. All right, what do you got to say?
Bro, stop calling me Somalian, man. I'm not Somalian, bro. I'm Ethiopian. So, yes, I just want to say, like, last time... last time that I called, like...
niggas are the same, bro.
I want to say, like, thanks, Fresh, man, for what you did. He told me to not buy the BMW, like, 2012. Like, that was a big mistake if I was done that. So I'm going to buy, like, a cheap car, like a hybrid or something like that. Like,
all right, bro, what's your question, man? What's your question, bro?
You got it, man. You got it.
My question is...
This kid is just yapping, guys. He's just yapping. Not really. I mean, see, that's the thing about these callers on the call-in shows is they never get to the point. They're just like, hey, I just wanted to call in. I'm just say what you're going to say, man. Like, don't waste our time, man.
Like, my question is, Like Byron, how can I like change down you, bro? I never talked to a woman. Like I never approached a woman in my life, so I don't know what to do. Like I would like to be a little bit social. Like I'm extremely introvert. How can I change that?
You're poor.
So he doesn't have money. He's never talked to a woman in his life, and he's calling in to speak to Myron to ask him to how to approach a woman. And we know Myron doesn't have any like actual like mouthpiece. Okay, so this is just hilarious. He doesn't have any actual game. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like asking Fresh, like, hey, how do I get a girl just on looks alone? It's like, he's not the guy to ask. Okay, he's not the guy to ask that. David came back. He says, Myron loves watching Fresh get cooked deep down. He knows Fresh is useless. Yes, but he'll never say it online, you know? Maybe like, see, I think what is it going to take? It's going to take Fresh leaving on his own, you know, like thinking that he really has what it takes to run his own thing. And I think that's what's happening currently, is that he's like building up his confidence by making all these like false promises that, yeah, I'm going to do these big things, whatever, you know, I'm going to get all these people that haven't been on Fresh and Fit to come to my show, and we're going to blow up too. And so far it hasn't happened. We haven't seen anybody that hasn't already been on Fresh and Fit. And now we have, I mean, it's like for his co-host, he had to get, well, I mean, even when he got Gary the Numbers Guy, basically their manager, to be his co-host, which I'm just like, out of everybody that you have connections with, the closest person you could get, or the best person you could get as your co-host, was the nearest person you could get, which was Gary the Numbers Guy. And it's, I mean, I don't know if it's a good choice. He's not really that inspiring, in my opinion. And Fresh still has like assumed the role of the B mic. A lot of people that I guess have tuned into his show, they have that sentiment, you know. And I'm like, how are you still a B mic on your own show? You know, and you're like, you're always the B mic, but never the host. It's like, what the hell?
Poor. You don't deserve a female. Keep making more money.
No, it's not about like having a female. Just like approach, trying to be a little bit social. It's not about female.
Bro, you need to focus on making money. You are in a situation right now where you did some scam shit. You lost all your money. Now you have a job. You're starting to build yourself back up. You can't afford more distractions. Focus on working. You literally work, eat, and sleep. I don't even want you looking at females, bro.
He's like, be an incel, okay? Just be an incel and get money. Disregard women, get money. Kokame says, Gary the Numbers Guy was so annoying on the Tariq debate. I just wanted him to shut up. Well, you're going to get more of him, unfortunately, because Fresh believes that, yeah, he's like, he's making a lot of sense. And I don't know, man. It's like, for these guys to be so like, oh, you know, like, we don't believe in star signs or whatever, but we believe in numerology. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Bro, I never talked to a female. That's kind of weird, though.
Bro, dealing with women is a privilege that you haven't earned yet. You're a loser. You need to fix that first.
So you don't think I can talk to female unless I make money? That's the only way that I can talk to female, when I make money?
You're a loser, bro. You need to fix your life before you even think about dealing with women. Because here's what's going to happen. Let's say I go in and give you dating advice. You're going to go out, you're going to deal with girls, okay? They're not going to respect or want to be with you anyway because you're a loser. So what's up going to happen is your sexual market value is low, so you're going to have to put in a lot more work to get average girls. And you're going to struggle no matter what. You don't have the foundation in place.
And they're going to still cheat.
And they're still going to do some bullshit. So you're not even in a position where you're going to be attractive in the first place.
But the thing is, like, I like the woman that
you know, sometimes it's hard to take advice, you know, when you have no experience, you know, like you're just like, well, maybe there's a possibility. And I think that's what this kid is coming from. He's like, look, you know, I think I could possibly pull something, you know, but this is not really the answer I was looking for. And yeah, of course, these guys are just like, no, just get money, guys. Just get money, you know? But the fact is, he's just like, no, I'm trying to see if I can find a girl that will genuinely like me. And it's like, dude, it's obvious. You know, you already said it that you haven't approached a girl, so you have no idea how they move, which is unfortunate. The first girl he does talk to, he's probably going to fall in love with. He's probably going to do the most, and she's going to take advantage of him, which is unfortunate.
I was with like all of them trying to get to know me and whatever, but I don't know what to do. So I should not like even have conversations with them and trying to get to know them because they all want to get to know me. So how can I do it?
How can I do it? What are you asking, man? It's like, I don't know. It's like you can't give that type of advice over the phone, you know? Like if there's no girl, there's no game to run, you know? Like you're literally trying to ask, how do I win the game? And you haven't even laced up your shoes yet. It's crazy.
All right, bro. Just keeping it real, man. I think you should focus on, like he said, work. And if females come around, listen, they're coming on to you, great. But understand what it is and enjoy the moment.
Okay.
But focusing on girls, bro, is an L.
That's the problem. Y'all trying to say like average men like cannot like have the female or whatever, bro. I don't think that's a good advice, man.
What do you say?
I don't know what he said, bro.
I'm really poor, but that doesn't mean that I cannot talk to females, bro. Let's say and then I work and I have money, so I have no experience now to talk to females.
No. We're saying there's no point to it because of where you're at.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this kid is going to have to make the mistakes on his own in order to figure out, you know, what not to do. You know, you got to make the mistakes first. You got to get rejected in order to come back stronger. And, you know, he's going to get his heart broken. You got to get your heart broken. It's part of the game, you know? And I know these guys aren't going to really talk about that because this kid, he probably does have a good head on his shoulders, you know? But, I mean, what Myron said, that he did some scamming. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but, you know, if he's got a job, he's making money, you got to build, man. You got to build, and you got to definitely, you know, if there is a girl that's, you know, is in your life that you are wanting to pursue, you got to kind of act like you don't care, man. You know, kind of, you can't really put the woman on the pedestal because she's going to be revolted by that. You know, she might think it's sweet, but then she's going to only want to keep you as a friend. You know, she's only going to see you as that. And, yeah, so I guess the best way to do it is just act like you don't care, man. Act nonchalant. Women will actually be drawn to you if you're nonchalant about the whole thing and you just focus on your work. Focus on your work. Focus on being independent, you know, like getting out and getting your own place and stuff. Have a place to go back to. I don't even know if this kid lives at home still, you know? But him putting up a resistance to whatever these guys are saying because he's like, I don't really believe whatever. I think I can still make things my way. You know, it's kind of a pointless venture to even call these guys to ask for any type of advice because Walter pays for box and Myron doesn't go outside. So these aren't the guys you need to be talking to.
So let's say where am I now? How can I do it? So now I have no experience when I'm talking to females.
Bro, you're not even at the foundation you need to be to engage in this conversation. You're below the foundation. That's the issue we're trying to tell you right now.
All right, bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna figure it out by myself.
We wish you the best, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, man.
Have a great day.
You're gonna need it. Bro. Wow. I can't imagine someone calling Dave Ramsey and saying, well, I think it should be this way. Nigga, we just told you what to do, bro. Like, all right, man.
He didn't really tell him anything. He just said it was kind of hopeless and, you know, just focus on your money and stuff like that, which, you know, part of that is right. Yes, he definitely needs to focus on his money, but I think he also needs to, you know, be able to practice talking to other women, but don't practice trying to get into a relationship. Just practice speaking with the opposite sex and it will get easier to you. I think I've said this before. whenever you're talking to an attractive girl, you can't let her know that she is attractive. You have to just treat her like a normal person, even if you're interested in her. You can't telegraph any of that, if she, I think it actually creates intrigue when you don't make any type of move towards her, like maybe, you guys lock eyes, or maybe you say hi to each other, whatever like that, but just keep it real brief. The woman will always be intrigued by the guy that is not interested in her, but the guy that projects too much interest is like repellent. So yeah, you gotta just kind of go in there and don't have any type of expectation on the board, and that seems to always have worked, in my own experience. It might work for him, but you need to get comfortable talking with the opposite sex. Don't ask, other men, how do I talk to other women? No, because every woman is different. Every situation is different. I don't even know. He said he's, Ethiopian or whatever. It's probably very different out in Africa. So we'll have to see. But these guys are in Miami. It's a completely different, marketplace and stuff. Out in his country, it can be completely different as well. Maybe a little bit more traditional. Maybe there might be some modern, Western tendencies in there as well. But every person is different. The internet has really kind of connected all of us and really accelerated everybody's trash thinking of, people are disposable. Relationships are instant gratification, and they're over as quick as they start. So being able to navigate that as a young person, I have a little bit of sympathy for, but I still think there are some tried and true methods that have always worked. And one thing you can never do is put a woman on a pedestal, because she'll if anything, you'll just make a friend out of it, and that might not be what you want. So
All right, bro.
Here comes the hater.
He wants us to light him and say, "Oh yeah, bro, just do X, Y, Z, bro. You'll be fine." Sure.
All right, who's up next?
This person who also donated, he says he's calling to hold Myron accountable. 9456, you're up. 9456, you're up.
Yo,
Yo.
Myron.
What do you got to say, man?
So this is what I don't understand, right? Like, if you work for the government, you was an agent, you interviewed, tons of criminals and suspicious characters and untrustworthy people. How is it that you can't tell that Fresh is a snake and he's going to betray you?
All right, that's your question?
So I like the buildup. This is going to be kind of a critique of this hater, so I hope it doesn't get cut. I hope the stream doesn't get cut, but we're going to go through this, okay? I like the buildup, okay? He went to Myron's perfection, his history and all that stuff, and I think it was a proper way in to be able to begin this conversation. But once he started talking about being a judge of character, I was like, oh, I know how this is going. I know this is coming back to Fresh. So, Kavos, man, welcome to the stream. I actually think the caller asked a very good question to Myron. Yeah, he did. And the way Myron responded, if it were me, and he's like, is that your question? I would be like, didn't you hear the question mark? I would have said some shit like that. But, got to keep it cordial. Got to keep it professional. Don't throw any ad hominems. Just talk to him straight. Give him a chance to respond. I don't like that Myron asked that. Oh, is that all you got? Is that your question? Like, yes, obviously it's my question. Would you like to answer it?
I mean, that's one of my questions. Like, to me, it's like you're a terrible judge of character. I mean, it's obvious. You got millions of people all over the world They can clearly tell that he's weak and he's gonna betray you eventually if he hasn't already. And you somehow are loyal to someone who's not loyal to you. I mean, what are you, stupid?
Oh, that's the first one. That is the first insult, the first ad hominem. Are you stupid? And you know, it's a rhetorical question. I don't think he actually wants an answer to it. That's probably the very first deduction I will give him. He shouldn't have said that just now. Exo Charles, welcome to the stream, sir. Hello, everybody. Good to see you, man. So yeah, I mean, he started out good. Now we just needed, you know, Myron to answer back.
All right. Anything else you got, bro?
And I don't like it. I don't like it that Myron is trying to move past this because he knows he can't answer this question. You know, it's like this would basically reveal how he feels about Fresh. You know, and I don't know if Myron has it in him to BS us. You know, he has to be authentic, and I don't think he has the mental to lie. To lie to us right now about how he feels.
Well, so you ain't got an answer to that. You see, it's funny. It's funny how like I'm calling in, I'm asking you a question, and you don't got an answer.
Dude, the chat is freaking like, dude, W caller. This guy's cooking already. What the hell? Myron, what are you doing? Like, this is great, man. Like, the chat is completely on this guy's side already.
How long you been watching Fresh Fit, bro?
Deflection. This is the first deflection.
I've been watching for a little bit.
No, how long?
What does that matter? You know, I could say I was watching from the very beginning. If he were to ask me that question, I would have said, well, it was Kevin Samuels that introduced me to you guys. So I think it was probably around the time that you guys started collaborating. That's when I had first heard about you guys. So yeah. So back when you guys were in the old studio, probably maybe like the first or second year in of you guys starting your podcast.
You know, on and off, maybe like a couple years.
When did you start watching?
I mean, listen, man.
If he had asked me that, I was like, okay, well, I was definitely watching before the demonetization, before the Daisy situation, before the Miranda situation, pretty much before the We Don't Dabble in the Dark, the collaboration with academics and I guess with Kevin Samuels. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much around that time, you know. And even when you had Satan Center on, I mean, I've seen a lot.
Not like maybe like a year after y'all started or something like that.
Probably the earliest memory of watching Fresh and Fizz when they had the chef hats on, and then with the whole Abba and Preach beef, the monkey noises, and actually one of my earliest memories is Fresh saying that he started to get in the gym and that he wanted to challenge Abba and Preach to a boxing match because he's been going to the gym. He's starting to feel nice. I remember he said that. So that's probably one of my earliest memories, which is kind of like, you know, bringing everything full circle to today.
All right. So as you know then, what, at this point, easily well over 100 YouTube channels plus have made hit pieces on us, talking shit about us, coming at us, demonetization, haters here, haters there. Fresh has been by my side the whole time. So for you to sit there and say that he's a snake, well, if he was a snake, I don't think he would have lasted 5 years, bro. The fact that we're still doing this show 5 years down the road and we're still able to operate despite the fact that we're demonetized, shadow banned, hated, taken off multiple platforms, etc., I would say that actually proves you quite wrong, especially over the course of 5 years.
Cannons
Most
YT,
other people
tip $70.
would have been.
What's up again? This is the less than $800 a week guy. I'm working on my channel. I'm halfway to becoming monetized and I'm currently studying to become a New York State police officer.
All right.
Big calorie deficit. Gym.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was bad timing for that $70 super chat because they're not going to respond to it.
So with that said, if Fresh was a snake, bro, he would have been gone years ago, bro. So I think time and the body of evidence proves that your assertion is actually incorrect.
Actually, I'm gonna have to, you know, counteract that and say that Fresh needs you. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, Fresh is going to be quote unquote loyal because he has nowhere else to go. Yeah, he started up a new channel.
Excellent point. Cabo said Myron is always going to defend what Fresh does off the camera anytime someone has criticism towards Fresh. Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like the all or nothing thing, man. He's gonna die on this sword about Fresh. And what the guy has counteracted and said, no, he needs you. He needs you more than you need him. And I think that Myron doesn't have the confidence to go alone, to do it alone. He has the confidence to, do his own like Fed Reacts, Myron Gaines X, whatever political channel, whatever. But for some reason, he feels like whenever it comes to, dating and dealing with girls and stuff like that, he needs to have his boys there so that he can actually, like, I don't know, run a podcast. But I don't know, man. I think you can have somebody that can have their own ideas and not be such a simp or just, quiet on the mic, whatever, just saying dumb things. I think you could have somebody that actually has something to say and can contribute to the conversation, maybe even elevate the conversation and maybe give you a different perspective. But I can honestly say I have never had my perspective changed from whatever Fresh had said or contributed to the podcast. And that is why he is the weakest link, and he needs, I mean, no pun intended, but he needs Myron. Because what else is he going to do? I mean, he's going to go off. He's going to do his own podcast. Yes. And it's going to do lackluster numbers. It's none of, I hope nobody in here is subscribed to the Fresh Start. But we do understand that there is a strategy right now for him to get everybody to go over and pay attention to him, because he's starting beefs. He's starting, controversies and stuff. And it's very, very simple to understand that he's going to take the controversial, attention-seeking strategy that Myron has done for the podcast and replicate it for his podcast, but on a different level. Exo Charles says, such a good counter. Fresh literally has nowhere to go to leave but Chick-fil-A or McDonald's. Or he could go to Subway. Subway is always hiring. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Betty says Sonic is hiring. Sonic is what? Sonic is what? Cabo says, Coke Benny, I cringe so hard every time he says you're a broke MFer. Yeah, I mean, he's got to go to money. And, that whole I got to go to money thing, that is very reminiscent of DJ Academics. Remember when he was talking to that one girl that had the deep voice, and she was saying, well, you got a little dick. And he was talking about her boyfriend and how, he couldn't afford to be in this building, whatever. He probably can't live in a mansion like what I got. He completely just like put all the money on the table and just said, hey, he doesn't have the money that I have. Oh, okay. Cook Benny says Sonic is subscribed to a Fresh Start. Oh, God. Well, he's our spy, okay? He needs to be the one that's plugged in so he can feed us all the information, because if I don't get it on Reddit, I'm not going to hear about it. That's just going to be the God honest truth. So Sonic will be our spy. So that's how we got to look at it.
Channel, the dude can't even break 6,000 views. You know what I'm saying? Even if you go in the comments, everybody's making fun of him on his channel.
This is a very good point. Okay. I don't know his audience that he's cultivated there. It's in the single digit % of people that actually support him. He has all the haters that come from Fresh and Fit. They hate watch him on his channel, and they roast him. They roast Gary. They roast his production. They roast and I noticed even on the podcast where he was challenging Sneeko to the boxing match, they had Bills there doing the audio, because I guess there was so much, people coming down on Fresh about like, yo, you need to download browser, the volume booster, fix your production, because this is garbage, So he got Bills in there, the sound engineer, and maybe he paid him for an afternoon to set everything up. Hopefully he can set it and forget it. They can be fixed from now on. But yeah, we'll see. Cook Benny came back and he says, I think Kavos is talking about Gary the numbers guy in the Tariq debate. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, man. I saw that. I saw that debate, and yeah, it was Gary did not represent himself well. Let's just say that it was not good. Tariq, he held himself pretty well against him, and yeah, I mean, and you know, Fresh, he had no way of winning that debate. I know he was in there, Myron was in there, and yeah, just they just did not represent themselves well, man. Just at the end of the day, they just didn't have it, man, to stand up against Tariq Nasheed, and we're never gonna get that round two, you know, because Myron, I think who did he say this to? Myron said something to I gotta remember who it was. Was it? No, it was on the No Jump when he was on the No Jumper podcast and he was talking to Adam 22 about Tariq Nasheed, because Tariq Nasheed has, I think, he told him, he's like, look, if you want me back on the podcast, you're gonna have to break bread. And Myron's like, fuck that, I'm not paying you shit. You know, like, you come on our podcast, whatever, like that, in person, whatever, but we're not paying you shit. And that's the reason why it's not happening, because Myron has too much of an ego. Maybe doesn't have the funds, you know, to make this happen. Just out of principle, it doesn't want to pay him. But that's why it's not happening. But he said on No Jumper, he said that Tariq Nasheed will not come on his podcast. And I'm like, but you're leaving out the fact that he already addressed it, why he's not coming on, because that first ass whooping was free, and the second one you're gonna have to pay for.
The name of the channel is A Fresh Start. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, you talking about Fresh is loyal. Then why is he pretty much backstab everybody? Sneeko, Zerka, like everybody that he doesn't really need to survive, that's in your circle, he has in some way said something against them. You know what I'm saying? None of them really fuck with him. You're the only one that kind of fucks with him. You know what I'm saying? Like he goes against Sneeko for really no reason.
He goes against Sneeko for the reason that he knows that he's a better content creator than him. He can be a possible better co-host than him. And he knows that there are people that, you know, they respect Sneeko, you know, especially, you know, on his current arc that he's in right now. So, and, you know, Fresh gets no respect whatsoever, you know, and it's only because he doesn't tell us what he does. You know, if he was a little bit more transparent, instead of this, like, oh, I got to protect all this stuff, I got to just keep everything a mystery, because, you know, that's what's going to, I guess, prevent people from knowing exactly that I'm a fraud. And yeah, he's got to maintain that, because he's like, dude, if I show everybody my hand, I'm toast, I'm cooked, and everything that everybody's ever said about me is completely valid. Coke Benny says, so Myron thinks he won the debate, but he wants a rematch. It's true, man. It's very true. I mean, well, from Myron's perspective, none of the points that he made stuck. You know, Tariq Nasheed stuck. He thinks that maybe he thought he led that debate, whatever, and Tariq Nasheed, he was chicken or whatever. He doesn't want to do it. He's scared to come back on again. I'm like, dude, that's not it, man. It's like whatever you got to tell yourself at night to like help yourself sleep and everything. But I don't understand how, you know, you can't like set aside your ego, understand what terms, you know, why he won't come on. He's already told you. And so if you really want it to happen, I'm sure a lot of people want it to happen. You get a lot of eyeballs, you know, to your stream. You should just break some bread, man. Stop having all this pride and make something happen, man.
He's on his show airing out situations with Sneeko for what? For what reason? Why is he doing that? Why is that something that we should even know about? So that's showing you his character. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, oh yeah, nah, if he was going to betray me, he would have been done it by now. Bro, where else he going to go? You made the man rich. Where's he going to go? He can't do shit by himself. So no shit he's going to stay by your side.
Look, bro, see, here's the thing.
It's a good point, man. These are all good points. Like, okay, so let's think, what could Fresh do with the skills that he has? You know? Could he open up like a coconut smoothie shop? Possibly. I don't know. Coconuts in Barbados, man. He could do it, man. He could do it. I don't know. He has the whole like rental car, luxury car thing maybe still going. He said at one point that he has invested in real estate. Maybe he can increase that, but I know that Fresh is unfortunately a victim of a younger generation coming into new money, and he immediately parts with his money through Lambos, escorts, and fine dining. So he's not smart with his money at all.
This channel, Fresh Start, he's already had that. It was a vlog channel before.
Yep.
And Myron has actually stated that he has invested in the equipment for a fresh start. He has helped design the podcast for Fresh, and he has a vested interest in the success of that podcast. So, yeah, I don't know. David said, one day somebody will tell me what Fresh actually does. And he's like, I'm waiting. Okay, well, I think I need to come out with the book, man. That's what that is. I have to be the one to finally let everybody know what Fresh does. And but with this recent controversy, I have to take notes and somehow work it into the pages, or a page. Really, it's just a page. It's not much. Calculated controversy. He has to fabricate, stories and create hype, whatever. But it all, at the end of the day, he's not going to get his hands dirty. He's not going to step in the ring with Sneeko. He's going to weasel his way out of it. So yeah, I got to put it all in writing. I got to put it, and I got to think of a chapter. And maybe it's only going to be a paragraph. It's not going to be an actual chapter, unfortunately. So but I still have to document it. So Cabos came back. He says, Fresh will thank you when the book comes out, Camp. Well, there's a lot of people that actually will thank me, because I'm not joking with you guys. I still get people on Instagram messaging me being like, yo, I just saw that video, man. Like, where can I find the book? And I'm like, bro, the book is not out, man. It's like, I don't want to put out a book that's, I say half done. It's not, if it's half done, that means it has to be 6 or 7 pages, whatever. It's not done, man. I don't want to put out something that's, and then something happens where it immediately outdates the book. I want to make sure that the book is full on complete, and then maybe it might take these guys, Fresh and Fit, finally parting ways and ending the podcast. That way I can have okay, now I have an ending to the book. But I think it would be good to capitalize and have the book come out while they're still together, and maybe even give them a chance to actually come across it on X or YouTube or something. But yeah, just understand that's going to be a big video that's going to hit the channel when it is finally done. And yeah, you guys are going to be the first ones to see it.
Okay.
Why do you have to change the name? Why do you have to change the name to a Fresh Start for? And why did he do it right around the time where people was getting on you about, that shit you was doing? I forgot, but that.
Yeah, the shit that Myron was doing was he was starting his own podcast with, Elijah Schaefer, Sneeko, and Nick Fuentes. So then they also wanted to do the Fresh Start because, they wanted to do his own thing. And then that fell apart. So then Myron switched his channel to Myron Gaines X. And then, yeah, Fresh switched his thing to a Fresh Start. But yeah, there was a whole, I remember that whole time when it was like, oh wow, they actually are going to split up and do their own thing. And they're like, no, we're going to divide and conquer. And no, one guy's going to split off and do his own thing that nobody's going to watch. And you're just going to split your viewership again between 2 different channels. And yeah, it's delusion. It's delusion that Fresh thinks that people are really going to come out and watch whatever he has to say. When I'm like, dude, we hate you, man. Well, we don't hate you, but we just don't respect you. It's not a hate thing. It's a respect thing. I don't hate you, Fresh. I just don't respect you.
Shit you was doing not too long ago. Why is the timing like that? Why is that timing? That's when he decides to change the name and then have a new host and all of it. Bro, his show is trash, bro. Trash.
Bro,
the dude can't survive without you. So of course he's gonna stay by your side. That don't mean he's loyal though. You gotta see the difference between that.
if Fresh got a deal where, you know, if he left Fresh and Fit and he got like he got, I don't know, pushed in the algorithm somehow, some way, as long as he could go solo and maybe host like a dating show, maybe like a Pop the Balloon clone or something like that, or a love show or a dating show or something like that, and he can be a host, and he can like, but he's gonna have to leave the podcast to be able to sign a contract, like a 3-year contract. I'm sure Fresh would do it. I don't think Fresh would turn that down. I think he would totally do it. And Myron would be like, sure, man, go right ahead, man. It's like, I think you should definitely do it. And then that would happen, you know, like I think that would be the one and only way that Fresh would leave, is that if he got a better opportunity where, you know, that's what it's kind of going against what Myron is saying. Cause Myron was like, no, he's going to stick by me no matter what. He's been here when we got demonetized, and we're going to come up together and all this stuff. And I'm just like, bro, this is like, you got to understand, if there is some crazy money that comes towards Fresh, he's going to leave you the second he goes. Kaba says, do you see Aiden promote Sneeko and Fresh fight, and now Fresh is delaying the fight? Not sure if you talked about this already. Yeah, we went through it, bro. I mean, dude, the fight got promoted, and I even left a comment on the trailer. I was like, bro, this trailer aged like milk, bro. Like, Fresh is already finding ways to weasel out. And yeah, it's not looking good, man. Taking Souls for free. What's up, man? You finally caught a live. Finally. Yeah, I remember watching this live. Fresh got absolutely cooked, bro. Yeah, I know. He was 3 shades darker after this, man. But like I said, man, I watched this and I was just like, I just sat back. I was like, dude, I feel like such a proud father right now. I feel like I was able to open the doors for people like this to come in with their prepared points, and I was just so proud of this gentleman. He did a really good job.
Here's the thing, like I said before, he could have left a long time ago, and we got demonetized almost 2 years ago.
He can't leave. He can't leave.
He actually
leave
could.
and go where?
Bro,
He can't
he
leave,
actually
bro.
could, bro.
He has no talent, bro. He has no talent. Where's he gonna go?
You know what's funny,
This
bro?
nigga just don't like you, bro.
Yeah, I know.
That's really what it comes
It's funny.
down
Like,
to.
he has no talent. This nigga's like, oh, he could have left and go where?
Bro,
go where?
The money we made, bro, I don't think you understand, bro, is like
there ain't no weed, nigga. First of all, there's no weed, nigga.
This is oh man, this is good right here. So this is basically the money that we made. It would definitely be from the Fresh and Fit yacht party, which I call the middle school dance, the Fresh and Fit ferry boat cruise, whatever. The money they made from that, they made a profit, according to Fresh. And, you know, Myron will tell you it wasn't about money, okay? It was about networking and connections and all that stuff. And, yeah, so the money that they made from that little 2-hour excursion was, you know, what was good for them. The money that Myron gets going to other podcasts, Tim Pool, Jubilee, and all this stuff, you know, I don't know if he says it in this video. Yes, he does say it in this video, actually. He says that if it weren't for Fresh, they wouldn't have had the they wouldn't have the Rumble deal, because Myron likes to stay inside. He doesn't like to talk to new people. He likes to just stay inside and, you know, study and stuff like that. And if he was able to go in, you know, try to establish connections, whatever, he said he wouldn't be successful. That's what Fresh does, because he hates talking to new people. But I'm just like, wait a minute. Did Fresh get you the gig on Jubilee? Did Fresh get you the gig on Tim Pool? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that was all off of Myron. Sonic Manscape has entered the chat. What's up, man? Yo, man, I'm so happy the Hustlers community is growing, bro. Love you guys. Yeah, man. Glad you finally made it, dude. Yeah, unfortunately, the fight is it's up in the air. You know, this is the first time I've ever had to like rethink about a thumbnail. Like the ink on my thumbnail wasn't even dry before Fresh backed out of it. So now I got to come up with another thumbnail. Maybe I just might put not banned, but like I'm cooked, or I don't know. What do I got to put? I was trolling. I'll put I was trolling in green over Fresh's forehead, and that might have to be the alternate thumbnail I have to do. So So Kama says, Fresh, you know what's funny? Yeah, bro. I fucking hate that lame, man. It's he always leads in with that, and you're like, okay, what you got? David said 3 Shades Darker makes me laugh every fucking time. Well, dude, I mean, it's almost like I want to take a photograph of Fresh before this caller came in, and then afterwards, bro. And he literally is. He's just like he is a former shell of himself, bro. Taking Souls and Freeze. Yes, finally made it live, but I want to save the rest of the stream for work tomorrow. Just know I'm waiting for your call on this episode, bro. I was trying to call in, bro. I was, and you might see on the chat scrolling me put hater 9944. I called in and I was like, yeah, I'm a hater, 9944, and that was it. And hopefully they'll get me on, dude, because like they're just calling all haters, man. They were calling all haters, and I was like, yeah, bro, I really want to make sure that I get on here because I had my notes, bro. I'm like so ready, bro. I'm so ready to do this. And now with this whole controversy going on, with the whole backing out of the fight, it's like more stuff, but it's leaning more towards Fresh. So I'm just gonna like, if Fresh wants to chime in while I'm talking to Myron, I'll be able to shut him down with like this current shit, be like, bro, you don't say shit, bro. You're backing out of a fight that you challenged, it's like, don't say shit, bro. Oh man. Take it souls refreshed. See, this is how I know you don't watch the show. So true, man. It's like, bro, I just grilled you for 20 minutes on everything that you don't fucking do and how you're so incompetent, whatever. And I even threw in some quotables of what Myron says and does to cover for your ass. And then you're going to turn around and say, I don't watch the show. I don't see how I don't see that doesn't add up, Fresh. I know you don't believe in math, but that doesn't add up.
You just sitting there, niggas don't even understand what the fuck you saying half the time, nigga. There's no we, nigga. You just sitting there leeching off of a nigga with talent, and you fucking rich off of another man's back, bro. Ain't no we, nigga. You don't do shit, nigga. Ain't no fucking we, nigga. You're trash, nigga.
Well, actually,
you're trash.
Hold on, bro.
You bring no talent. You're not smart, nigga. You're awkward.
See, this is okay. So I'm gonna have to deduct another point for this hater. I mean, he was doing really well, just addressing Myron about Fresh, but now that he's on Fresh, he's letting his emotions get to him, and now he's starting to crash out a little bit. So I gotta deduct another point. This is not the way you want to do it, okay? This probably could have been an hour conversation, but it ended up only being cut short about 42 minutes because he had to go ahead and throw in these ad hominems at Fresh. I know it's easy. Guys, I know it's easy to just aim at Fresh because Fresh is just, he's low-hanging fruit. You gotta really savor the flavor and not put all your chips in and just crash out on this. If you have prepared points, you gotta really methodically go through them all. If you want to be successful, you gotta just slowly ask your questions, see how they respond, counter response, and then Myron will most likely say, okay, what's your next point? And then you just move on, But don't get sidetracked by Fresh, because Fresh will chime in and he will try to derail the conversation, and you don't fall for it. It's too easy to fall for it, so don't do it. Taking Souls for Free came back. He says, this was truly a happy Fresh Roast Friday episode. Bro, that's why I felt so happy, bro. I felt so happy, listening to this. I was just like, dude, I'm so proud. And then when it came on Reddit, I was just like, dude, I feel so happy. I feel like a proud dad listening to this. I feel like this is one of my sons that I raised. I'm like, yo, this guy right here, he ain't shit. Make sure that you gotta have all your points in order when you talk to him, because I want you to get all your points out. It could have gone longer. Coke Benny says, I remember when a caller calls out Fresh for not making progress at the gym, and Fresh pulls up a before and after pic of him at the gym. The only difference was he was darker in the after pic. Oh man. Well, that's the thing. Any video that you will see of Fresh at the gym, all he's doing is curling. Like, he's just gonna grab like a 15-20 pound weight in one hand. He's just gonna be curling. That's it. He's not going to be actually or maybe pushing with his legs or whatever like that, but he's not going to be doing any like real exercise. It's not going to be a video of like various exercises. This is going to be one. It's going to be for like 15, 30 seconds, and that's going to be it. It's not enough, man.
You're annoying. Nobody likes you, bro. Like, there's no we, bro. Shut up, bro. I don't even ask you no questions, bro. Don't talk to me, bro.
The hostility, I get it, because I had it as well, but you got to know how to control it, because this is about to get cut short. You know, it can get cut short at any time. You got Big Mo on the dials or whatever. So if you start making too much sense, dude, your call's gonna get dropped. So you got to be very aware of that.
Let me be very explicit about this, because again, this is one of the things where you don't see.
Taking Souls for Free says, I'm certain Mo recognized your number, but didn't take it because of the health bar on Fresh. Whoa. Yeah, bro. No, like seriously, I don't think they could have handled my call after this one. That's why I was like, you know what? It's actually good. Let this guy get the clip. He got the clip, okay? Like all the other haters that came in, dude, they were shit. This guy, he got the clip. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. You know? Because now they're doing two call-in shows. They have a call-in show on Monday and they have one on Friday. So if I don't make it on Friday, I'll just try again on Monday. So you know, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, man. So
see what's going on behind the scenes. If it weren't for Fresh, you do realize Fresh If It would have been done back in August of 2023 when we got demonetized, right?
I don't believe that. I believe that Myron would have found a way to make it on Rumble, you know, make it on Twitch, whatever, you know. Who's to say that he would have crashed out or he would have given up? You know, I think he's saying that, but Myron is he's in too deep with this podcast, all right? So he's going to keep it going up until he has no sponsors, no more platforms. He's going to keep going. If he has to go on Cozy TV with Nick Fuentes, he's going to do it. So I don't believe for a second that in August, whatever, that they would have been completely done. I think he would have kept going.
Oh, no, you don't know that. So let me go ahead and explain for you. Prior to us being demonetized by YouTube, Fresh had locked in a deal for us with Rumble that basically allowed us to stay on the air and be able to do what we do, right? And we've been doing now for almost 2 years while being demonetized. I'm sure you've seen other YouTubers be demonetized, and that's pretty much the end of their channel, and they don't film anymore. Or if they continue to film, they drop what they're doing. Now, back in August of 2023, when we were demonetized, we had just gotten the new studio. We were still at the old studio. We just got a new studio, and we had just invested a significant amount of money into the new equipment, right, that we had, and the move. So if Fresh had not done that, we would not have been able to not only continue doing the show, but be able to do the show at the high level that we're doing it now with almost an all-new studio. A lot of people don't know that. We got demonetized in August of 2023. We moved into this.
We know, everybody knows that because you remind us every time that you get demonetized or lose another platform. When you lost Twitch, you gave us this whole recap story of how you got demonetized and all this stuff. So we know the whole thing about the new studio. The fact is, like, a lot of stuff was happening. They were demonetized, and then they would also put in money to do a new studio, whatever, because the landlord that was not liking them and, you know, bring in crazy, you know, people at all hours of the night and stuff on their podcast. And then when you kick people out, it was just a lot of traffic going in and out of their building. And yeah, I mean, I remember Myron saying that the landlord was not liking them and their podcasts and stuff. And I guess it was disturbing other people too. So there was a lot. So yeah, they had to find another way to do a studio and everything like that. And they made it happen. You know, luckily Walter was there to put his money out and stuff, his half. And yeah, they were going to make things happen. But yeah, I think when there's a will, there's a way, man. And Myron has this whole idea of this podcast that I don't want to be controlled by anybody. I want to be able to speak freely. And I think that feeling is so strong in him he's not gonna just give up like that. So I think this whole like, oh yeah, we would have been done if Fresh wasn't here. That's all bullshit.
This studio in October of 2023. So if Fresh had not locked that down, you wouldn't even have the ability to call into the show and say that he's useless. Think about that for 2 seconds. I really want you to understand this. You would not be able to call into the show and call him useless, like you are now, by the way, if it wasn't for him securing that deal and ensuring that we could continue to stay on the air, and not only stay on the air, but do the show at the high level that we do now. Anyone else that's demonetized, bro, they either get off YouTube or significantly reduce their ability to make content. We've upgraded our shit. So look, you might not like Fresh. I could tell you got a personal vendetta with the guy. You might not like. Is Mike?
I don't have a personal vendetta. It's just like it's inevitable, bro. It's an inevitable fact that
mute this guy.
He will.
No, I'm talking right now. No, I'm mute this nigga. You're gonna listen to me now, okay? Because you came in here thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk shit about this nigga. I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind. Blah blah blah. You don't have to like his mic skills. You don't have to like his personal endeavors behind the scenes. You don't have to like anything that he does. You don't even have to like him. But you would not have Fresh to Fit right now. You wouldn't have Myron Gaines X. You wouldn't have any of this stuff.
That's false. You would have had Myron Gaines X because that's separate from Fresh. Fresh is nowhere near. Have you ever seen Fresh on Myron Gaines X? Have you ever seen him on a Fed Reacts episode? Absolutely not. There's no way. And yeah, bro, I just think that this is all cope, you know, and even people in the comments are like, oh, this is cope, bro. This is like the worst, like unrealistic assessment of the situation here. Fresh, him being there is very inconsequential in my humble opinion. The fact is, if the podcast did get completely like taken off of YouTube, whatever, he would have gone to Rumble, or they would have gone to a different, they would have gone to Twitch or whatever like that. And the fact is, YouTube has not taken down them completely. Okay. So the fact that they still have a platform on YouTube, whether they're getting paid or not, they're still getting people to go to the Rumble, still see their videos. I think that one of the dumbest things that Myron like wanted to do in the beginning was like, oh, I want to completely move over to Rumble and completely screw over YouTube because we're not getting paid by them anymore. And I'm like, that's really dumb because nobody watches Rumble because Rumble is such an unstable app, you know, especially on the phone. I don't know if you guys ever watch videos on Rumble. At least on the mobile app, it's trash. I've never really watched Rumble on my PC, but I'm pretty sure it's just as unstable. I always hear in the comments whenever people are like, yeah, Rumble's down again. So yeah, I mean, YouTube, it was probably the best idea for them to stay on YouTube and not move everything. Cause now I think they're even doing after hours on YouTube still. Like they remember he's like, that's only going to be behind a paywall. Now it's all like, they can't do that now. They can't do that. Cuck Betty says, there should be a Mount Rushmore of callers destroying Fresh. You, Eventual Warlord, and this caller have a spot in it, and the fourth caller is to be determined. Bro, that's funny, man. That's really funny. It's true though. I haven't seen a lot of good haters, man, and I really haven't. And you know, hopefully more will emerge, you know, from this. Because yeah, this guy definitely has he's made a name for himself. I don't know his name, but he's made a name for himself here. Myron brushes off any criticism about Fresh by saying they have a personal vendetta against him. Well, you know, that's cope, bro. We know that. We know that he just reduces, he labels and dismisses people as, okay, you're just a hater. Okay, you're emotional and, you know, you don't really know what really goes on, whatever. You're just in your feelings and stuff. And that it's like what we said the last stream, actually. Fresh does not have the mental capacity to take constructive criticism. He just takes it as hate or jealousy, even worse. And like, bro, we don't hate him as a person. Well, some people do. We just hate his performance on the podcast. We think that seat could be filled by somebody who actually has some ideas, you know? But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, unfortunately. He has his name on the marquee and it's before Myron, unfortunately. Taking souls for free. Gonna head out for now. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. Good night, and thank you for the consistency, man. I appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you so much, man. Have a good night. Gabo says, "Yo, Sonic, you still there, bro? I hope you're doing well, bro." And then, yeah, man, I know that I spoke to Sonic earlier, and I gave him a little sneak preview of the thumbnail, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna be here." So I appreciate you guys coming through.
Had he not been able to lock that deal in for us and allow us to be able to stay on the air and be able to do what we're doing, still at a high level, despite the fact that we've been demonetized for 2 fucking years. So the fact that you're even able to call in right now and talk shit and say that he's useless is hilarious to me, because you wouldn't be able to do this and give your opinion if you hadn't done that. If you don't like it, cool, bro.
Yeah, but the thing is, man, it was your choice to do the call-in show. That was Myron's idea. You know, Fresh had no say in that, okay? Myron knows that the call-in shows do numbers, probably like actually kind of rival maybe the after hours, because sometimes the call-in shows they go on for so long that they can't. I remember this excuse me, this call-in show canceled after hours. There was no after hours after it. There was so much cooking going on. So yeah,
bro. Clearly, you have some personal grievances with Fresh. But one thing you cannot take away is that there would be no Fresh Fit right now if it weren't for him. You gotta mute him.
Appreciate that. But yeah, caller.
It's common sense.
It's funny because at the end of the day, bro.
Dude, one of the comments is Myron is coping, dude. It's so true, man. It's so true. Sonic says, "I'm doing vector work while watching camp." Awesome, dude. Yeah, man. And you know, when I'm gonna have to redo this freaking thumbnail after the stream is over, which is unfortunate because I don't think it properly represents what's going on. I want to make sure that I deliver on my thumbnail, and right now my thumbnail is clickbait, and I don't like doing clickbait. Oh man. David says, when you call in again, remind Fresh about the Chinese escort and the Van Cleef bracelet. Oh, bro, it's in my notes. It's in my notes. But the way I'm going to remind him about it, I'm going to be speaking to Myron. I'm going to be saying, "Hey, so how do you deal with the fact that Fresh lied to you on air in front of your whole audience about the Van Cleef bracelet and hit?" Because he told you, he said he didn't spend any money on the bracelet, but then he later admitted on Mr. Organic podcast that he did pay half. So he did not respect you, and he lied to you about that. How do you feel about that? And then he actually, that whole subject was brought up again on No Jumper. And I remember Myron, he was sitting right beside him, and they were talking about it. And I remember Fresh said, "Yeah, dude, I got her the bracelet. I got her the fake bracelet at first, and I fucking forgot that she was from China and it was made in China. And then I had to go and get the real one." And Myron is sitting right next to him. He's just like giggling along, whatever. So, you know, without Myron giving me his answer right now, that just tells me that he has forgiven him about that. But I would still like to hear from Myron what he really thinks. Fresh blatantly lied to everyone and got exposed when the escort revealed it all. And that's the thing, man. Daisy had no reason to lie. You know, the post that she did, oh man. Like, I know it was cut out of the last stream because of copyright issues or whatever. But when we broke down Eventual Warlord's critique of Fresh, and he brought up the whole bracelet thing, Fresh's biggest sticking point was, you don't have no proof. You have absolutely no proof. And what Eventual Warlord presented was, hey, there was a post that said, hey, our feelings were genuine. What's the issue with, you know, people getting gifts for each other? You know, like, what's the issue of that? And then the guy said, we know that Walter got it for you because he's always talking about Van Cleef bracelets, or Van Cleef, just the brand, on the podcast. So we know that he got it for you. And then, yeah, and Daisy, she didn't say Walter's name, but because the commenter said that, it referred to him, and she's like, look, our feelings were genuine. I don't see the issue in getting gifts from someone, you know, you spend time with or whatever. And then Fresh said, he's like, see, she didn't name me specifically, but she did say it was just in general, which I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. That's another lie. It's another lie. So it was just like, it was a lie after lie after lie. He's like, I didn't pay for the bracelet. That post wasn't about me. And that she comes from a well-to-do family, and that she either got it from her ex-boyfriend, who was a billionaire, or she got it for herself. So that was like a combo lie. So yeah, Fresh is just a freaking habitual liar, man. He can't be trusted, not at all. But yeah, that's definitely in my notes, David. So it's all, man. I got it all there, man.
It takes a team to win, and I do my role very well. I mean, I like my role, but it works out.
Okay, so if we're going to talk about a team aspect, if this was, if we were to equate Fresh and Fit to like a sports team, what would Fresh be on the team? Would he be like the mascot? Because his name is first before everybody else. He could be the mascot, maybe, or he could be the water boy. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. He's definitely not the referee, but he's not the point man either. So he's got to be something. Who would Fresh be on the team?
And then for you, bro, I don't know what you do for a living, bro, but like I can guarantee you this, bro.
He could be the guy that shoots the t-shirts into the crowd. That's who he would be.
Ain't nothing compared to
Kamo said towel boy. Yeah. He's got to do something, man. That's what he's got to support the team. Okay. That's what Fresh does. He's got to be the guy who offers support in some way. I like towel boy. I also like, mascot maybe, because a mascot is kind of like a jester, a court jester. So yeah, a lot of falling down, stumbling over himself. Uh-oh, I killed the audio. Hold on one second.
Bro, there's no we, bro. You're like, you talk like, okay, I'm successful. You're not on my level, this, that, and the third, but you're successful off another person's back. You don't have any talent. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk like that, like, yo, bro, I got bread. You can't talk to me like that, this, that, and the third. You shouldn't.
See, this is very emotional, what Fresh is doing. I'm not even going to focus on the caller. I'm going to focus on Fresh right now. Fresh is acting very feminine, okay? He is speaking when another man is talking. If I was this caller, I would have pulled a Kevin Samuels, and when I would have said, no, you don't overtalk me. I would have said some shit like that. Only because I knew that my call was probably going to get probably disconnected or something at any point. I would have at least slipped something in like that. Like, it wouldn't be like in a what's it called? An ad hominem. It wouldn't be, I would be like, no, you don't overtalk me. I would have said some shit like that. But I mean, you know what? I hate that I'm like saying any of this stuff now, because it's going to allude to, if I do get on the call-in show, you guys are going to be the first ones to be like, okay, we already know the playbook. We know what Camp is about to do. And I'm just going to go down the line of stuff. And if Fresh wants to interject and he wants to talk while I'm talking, and be like, no, you don't overtalk me. I would have said some shit like that. That would have been fucking great. Oh man. Cuck says, dude, you didn't prove anything. Oh god, I gotta read this in Fresh's voice. I have not practiced talking like Fresh, so I'm gonna stumble a little bit. I think that's the point though. Dude, you didn't prove anything. You just yapped about what you thought, assumed, and you didn't prove anything at all. Bro, I still laugh at that freaking edit that you did. Like, I still have not watched it in the whole way through and not freaking died laughing, bro. That shit is fucking great. Sonic said, yo, Camp, did you call in? Because I want to call in. How do you call in? Okay, so you see that number in the bottom of the screen? Save it in your phone. It is 646-490-0394. So when you call that number, you're going to get it's a New York number. And it's going to say, thank you for calling Fresh. Please leave your name and your reason for calling. And then after you do that, you hit the pound key. And then then it will say, you can listen to the show. And then when you hear the beep, that's when it'll be your turn to talk. That's what happens. So, and if you get disconnected or you get dropped or whatever, just call back and you'll have to do the whole thing over again. What you want to do if you want to get on the show, you got to say that you're a hater, and then do the last 4 digits of your number, and then when you're on the line, you can still watch the show. But I mean, what I do, I just kind of watch the show on my phone. I watch it on mute because you can hear it on your phone because you're actually in a call. And then just be ready with your notes. If you have notes or something, just have it on your phone. And but yeah, but the thing is, if you have an earpiece, because I had an earpiece, whatever, it's not good to have an earpiece when you call in the show. It's best to just talk on your phone normal. So make sure don't be on like speaker or anything like that, because it just sounds like crap. It works better when you just talk on your phone normally, and just for audio reasons. So yeah. Lingo Lynn, you are back. Good to see you. So good to see you. Bro, what do you think of the situation between Myron and DDG? Bro, we talked about that last episode or last live stream. Just to sum it up very succinctly, the whole brand risk boxing match, whatever. Aiden said in a tweet that they want to do Myron versus DDG. Myron already said on Myron Gaines X that he will not fight DDG because he is like 5'2", 5'3", or something like that. So there's a height differential, because I think Myron is over 6 feet, and he doesn't want to fight him for that sole reason. He's like, I don't want to fight him because it wouldn't be fair. So Myron has agreed to not fight him. So I don't think it's going to go much further than that. It's just going to be a bunch of shit talking over the internet. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna be the whole thing. Exo Charles says, I'd be better if you stream while you call in so we can see when they mute you. You know what? Unfortunately, they go live on their shows at like 9 o'clock. So I have to either still be at work, or I have to be in my car and driving home and stuff at that time. But yeah, if there's a way where I'm actually off on a Friday or a Monday and I can be home, I would totally stream it, dude. I would totally stream it just so that you guys can see what my, what my whole reaction is, and when they mute me, so that way I can have a document of it. So yeah. K5, welcome back to the stream, brother. Good to see you, man. Is the entire episode going to be about Fresh and Fit? No, it's not. I just wanted to lead in with this whole boxing match thing, which is pretty much over now. It's still up in the air. I'm not gonna say it's completely over, but Walter right now is finding a way to weasel his way out of it. So but no, there is some other stuff I have on the docket that I need to go through, and some of it is Rollo Tomasi, and I think there's a few other things. But yeah. But I wanted to get through this hater because this hater was really good. Sonic says, I love how Myron considers another person when it's about fighting. But when it comes to free speech, he'll unleash the worst rhetoric without consideration. That's a great fucking point, man. Like, he will eviscerate you online, but when it comes to like a physical fight, if he doesn't have his gun at the ready, he's just going to be like, no, I'm just going to talk shit, man. He's like, look, I'm not going to. It's a stand your ground state, whatever. I have the right to defend myself. But yeah, it's definitely I think Myron, unfortunately, is all bark and no bite at all. Like, I don't think he would fight anybody either, he'll shoot somebody, because he's like, I know the laws in Florida, but I don't think he would actually fight anybody. K5 says, also, which one of them is wanted to fight Preach from Abba and Preach? Well, Fresh wanted to fight Preach. He agreed to fight Preach, and Myron to this day still wants to fight Abba, but he knows that Abba won't fight him. So, and yeah, that was the original plan, was to have Fresh fight Preach, and then yeah, but then he just they were like, no, we got to organize this. We got to get sponsors and all this stuff, and freaking Preach, man, he was ready to come down there and freaking fight him for free. Like, he didn't even want to wait for this whole thing, but I think Myron ended up saying, he's like, no, it would actually be really stupid to do an unsanctioned fight for free. You know, he's like, I actually agree with Fresh. I think we should have actually got it sanctioned, did it the right way and all this stuff. And I'm just like, that's dumb, dude. That's just fucking dumb. Like, I think we're all coping really hard to why we're not going to actually make this shit happen. So, Coke says, call out. Oh man, that's funny. No, man, the thing is, you know, as much as, you know, I would love to finally get this freaking conference call done, you know, with these guys. It has to be, unfortunately, during work hours, you know, and it's fine, you know, like I made it work last time. I can make it work this time. What is good is that, if the call goes long enough, I mean, not the call, but yeah, if the podcast goes long enough, they can have it go to where it's like past 11 o'clock and I can actually be home to do this thing live. So what was unfortunate was that once it turned to, I think, 11, Myron said that they were going to end the stream and then he was going to continue in about 45 minutes on his own channel on Myron Gaines X. And I was like, oh, well, that's not going to be fun. That means Fresh is not going to be there. So we can't really like roast him too. You know, even though Myron Gaines X does have like a good amount of viewers and stuff, it doesn't compare to when both of these guys are on stream, you know, and to have the full effect, you want to have both of them on stream. You don't want to have just one. So Lincoln says, I think Myron is bad at combat sport. He never once agreed to a fair fight between without any use of a weapon. That's true, man. I mean, I don't know if you saw him when he was in England and he was like, that guy in England, I guess that was on the bike or whatever, was talking trash to him. And then when he rode off, that was when Myron wanted to say like, yo, come back, man. Like, why are you running? And, yeah, it was crazy. Like, Myron has to have like, he has to be on his terms. He has to be like in his apartment where he can get his gun and stuff like that so he can feel safe. Otherwise, he's not going to go outside, bro. He's not going to fight anybody. I remember somebody asked, I think it was this guy actually. No, it wasn't him. I think it was maybe somebody else. They asked, who do you have on a fight between Fresh and Sneeko? He asked Myron and Myron's like, I'm going to be rooting for both of them. I was like, that's fucking... That's such a Myron answer. I'm gonna be rooting for both of them. It's like, come on, man. It's like we know you can't say that you're not gonna be rooting for Fresh because Fresh is sitting right there. You know? But yeah, I don't know. So Sonic says, wait. When did you say that we need both of them? Like both Fresh and Fit? Are you saying that Fresh is important? No, I'm not. I'm just saying that he needs to be there. In case he wants to interrupt, I have shit ready for him to interrupt. Otherwise, if I just go on Myron Gaines X and I just like, you know, go against him, whatever, Myron probably would just hang up on me. Whereas I don't think what's it called? Big Mo is on Myron Gaines X when Myron is doing the stream. I think Myron's running that entire production by himself. Was I right? Fresh is important? No, he's not important. He needs to be there. So in case he wants to interrupt, that's what I'm saying. To get the clip, I want to have both of them there. That's it. But you know, that's pretty much it. I don't want Fresh is not important. Let's get that straight. Okay. I never said that. I just said that I would need both of them to be there. So when I do this call in, Fresh, he will inevitably chime in and try to get a point across or say something, you know, to kind of be like, oh, he's dumb. And then I can be like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and unleash on you what I got ready for you. And then that would be it. But I wouldn't focus too much on him. You know, I would still take the time to roast him for a little bit and then go right back into what Myron, you know, because you got to weave these things. You can't get thrown off. Cook Betty says, you gave Sonic a little chub there. Yeah, well, see, I think he's really trying to bring me over to the freshes he's needed for the podcast. And I'm like, no, I still don't believe that. I think that's just, that is your fanhood talking. And I don't know. I don't subscribe to that.
You can really be talking like that.
I still believe that you could take a, I was going to say a mannequin with a black trash bag over it and 4 buttons, but I was also going to say you could take a plushie and just replace him with a plushie, just put it in front of the freaking microphone, pull the string to have like those 4 sayings, and that's it. I mean, I'm sure, I don't think anybody would buy a fresh plush, but you could do that instead, and I think that would work. So
you're like the equivalent of somebody winning the lottery. You're like the equivalent of like a bum walking into the gas station and winning millions of dollars off a scratch ticket. You know what I'm saying? So you can't talk shit to nobody. You know what I'm saying? This caller's calling in onto the show right now tonight that would do your job better than you. Mo could do your job better than you, bro.
See, this is a lot. I'm not going to deduct points because everything at least what he's doing is measured points. Like he's saying it, and he's not rapid firing it to the point where he's like, and you're stupid. He's going to get to that. It is going to get to that point. But what he is saying is shutting Fresh up. And I think it's effective. It's very effective. Sonic came back. He says, let's be real, Camp. The only reason why we want to call Fresh and Fit is mainly to get the meme moment. Myron would give a meme moment. Only Fresh would give a meme moment. That I would say that I don't know, man. Did I get a meme moment when I called in with them? I mean, I guess I got a couple, but Fresh and Myron both kind of like were quiet when I was on, Like if anything, Fresh wanted me to reiterate the book. Myron wanted me to just go through my points, but they didn't really counteract anything I said. So I do think that if this second time around is going to be a little bit more pushback, I think Myron's going to be ready for it because he's going to be fired up. And I think even Fresh is going to have this like false sense of being fired up and being like, you don't know what I do. I'm like, motherfucker, nobody knows what you fucking do. Myron has minions to help him debate people on Twitter. Twitter is way worse because Myron's minions speak better than Fresh, and they jump to save Myron all the time. I've actually seen that happen, dude. That's a good one, Exo Charles. He's whenever he gets into those little Twitter spaces, I always see him. He always has like 1 or 2 co-speakers or co-hosts and stuff that are in those Twitter spaces, and yeah, dude, they're always taken up for him. So yeah, a lot of the stuff that someone that goes against Myron in those Twitter spaces, there's always like 2 or 3 people that are gonna like speak up for him, and he just can sit back. But yeah, Sonic says, after all, both viral moments were because of Fresh, not Myron. Well, true. Well, that's because the first call was all about Fresh, whereas the second call is gonna be all about Myron mainly, and I have stuff for Fresh just in case. You got to have stuff on deck just in case, and that's the thing. I've thought about this. I have a whole year to think about this for my plan of attack. Is that you definitely want to go in on Myron, go in, and then just wait for him to respond, whatever. If he says, "Is that your question?" Just be like, "Hey, did you not hear the question mark?" And then or keep going if he wants to move on to something else, whatever. All right, well, guess what? I got something else for you. And then, if Fresh wants to say anything at any point, I have something ready for that. Let's see. Both you and Eventual Aura became viral because of Fresh. Well, it's true. And I appreciate the people that, follow me now on Instagram, follow me on X and YouTube and stuff like that. So yeah, you are right about that. Sonic says the Hustlers have to give me that moment. Team Fresh all the way. Jesus Christ, man. Sonic, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but you are our official spy for the Hustler community. You're going to be the one that's going to basically watch you're going to get the reconnaissance on a fresh start, anything that happens there, and you're going to report back to us. Okay. You work for us now. Cabo says, I think they were quiet because they were not used to someone calling in and roasting Fresh so eloquently. Well, thank you very much for saying that, man. I think all it comes to is just having your points. For me, I was able to freeball it because I had already reviewed my points from a week earlier, and I just happened to get on the show a week after. But it's good, man. It's good to actually prepare your points and actually think of the counter responses and then have counter responses for those counter responses. That's how you got to think. You always got, I mean, I'm a chess player, so you got to think a couple steps ahead. Lincoln says, did you see the Desirable Truth Street interview with Myron? This guy called a random woman stupid out loud for walking in front. I saw that. And you know what? The woman was just like, oh, you're mean, whatever. And it was it was a very quick, dismissive act that Myron said. He's like, look, see, it just really points to all the points that I'm always talking about. Modern women, the whole entitlement thing. I guess he was hoping that we were gonna be like, it's okay. And I saw that whole interview, and yeah, I mean, I honestly think that there's always gonna be people that are gonna walk in front of your camera, not knowing what you're going, not even know who you guys are, and yeah, the hubris of women out in Miami. They're gonna be like, everybody's trying to get their 15 minutes. And I would probably, I don't know if she has OnlyFans, but she probably does. Maybe, she was trying to get some free advertisement out of it. I don't know. But yeah, I did see that street interview. I've actually seen Desirable Truths, a couple of videos actually. And yeah, man, he does some good stuff. Kawa says, thank you, Sonic. Sonic says, haha, yes, sir. All right, so let's keep going. Let's keep it going.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but
Chris does your job better than you.
You're
So
still calling.
You know what's funny? That's another line we got to add to the for example, think about this. What's the other one thing he says? Obviously speaking. What did he say? Obviously speaking? Yeah. He says a bunch of shit that's like, it's just filler words, man. But yeah, that's think about this.
I really don't understand where you get off.
You're still
talking
calling
like,
and watching
no,
our
bro,
show. So
you know
even
what
though
I'm
they
saying?
do
You're
it
not
better,
on my level.
I'm
Like,
still
you don't
here
even know
doing
me.
the show.
You don't even know
So
me. How
the
you
funny
know I'm
part
on
is-
your
the funny
level or
part
not?
is, you're
I
saying
just
all
think
this.
This is very emotional from Fresh. He needs to just either, I mean, I get it. He wants to fight back because he's just so quick. He's so quick to just, shut down and everything, but he's not shutting down on this one because he's like, no, I'm going to give the audience something different now. This is a really bad look for me. I gotta actually stand up for myself. Kava says he also says anyhow a lot. Yeah. When he's trying to move along the conversation, when he realizes that, oh shit, I've painted us into a corner with my comments. Anyhow, chats.
You're useless.
But what do you do?
I don't understand how Myron can see that you're useless.
What do you do, bro?
You know what I'm saying? You're not
You do nothing.
trustworthy.
You do nothing,
Okay?
bro.
You do nothing. So, I mean, that's the thing about his arguments is that he doesn't know. The caller hasn't reviewed what he does. He does, and with good reason, he doesn't have to. The reason why you guys called in, I'm sorry, the reason why you guys have this show is because you want people, haters. Myron says, like, I want haters to call in with any critiques you have about us, and you get it. And now you're just like, you fight back against it when you're like, no, this is what you wanted. And we know, Myron being quiet right now, this is what he wants. He wants this because this is good for him. He's just like, I want Fresh to take some heat because, yeah, he is fucking useless.
You betray
that's the point.
everybody. You know what I'm saying? You talk behind niggas' back.
This is another. Oh, the N word, but he says ES. So it's kind of funny.
You know what I'm saying? You air out niggas' dirty laundry for no reason.
Who?
You're a weirdo, bro. You're not
what are you?
real, bro.
Bro, what are you? You're calling
and
another
Myron
man's show.
is not real to you,
Gossiping
and I
about
don't
another man.
understand why, because you don't deserve it. You're
Says
a
who?
weird ass nigga, and nobody fucks with you.
That's a lie.
Well, you got Sneeko, you got what's his face, Zerka. Both of them have Myron has requested to have them on the show, and Sneeko did come, but he only came for Myron, and he didn't stay for the Fresh Start podcast because I think he was supposed to go on that, but he went straight back to New York. And Myron has also asked for Zerka to come to the show, and Zerka was just like, "No, fuck that. I don't fuck with Fresh." So those are two people off the top of my head. Isn't Andrew Tate back in Romania? I mean, he did his whole little podcast run while he was here in the States. He went all the way from Miami to California, Vegas, California. And yeah, he's just like, all right, I'm back in. He completely dodged these guys. And, I mean, he didn't completely, because he went to the DJ Academics party, and he saw Myron and Fresh and stuff, and Fresh had his new woman with him, his French girlfriend that's very, very hard in the face, and we're going to talk about that as well.
That was the case.
That's not a lie.
If that was
you
the
was
case,
just on your show the other day airing out mad shit about Sneeko. You went on No Jumper and you aired out mad shit about Sneeko. Why? Why did you have to do that? Why did you have to go on the show and bring up things about Sneeko that happened behind the scenes
what are you trying to say?
and tell the whole world about it? Why? Why did you have to do that?
We did a podcast,
lame, bro.
me and Sneeko,
There's no excuse
face
for
to
that.
face, and I said the same
There's
thing.
no excuse for that.
The fact that you said it to him face to face, that was still something that you could have said face to face offline. What he's referring to is when he said the whole when Fresh was wearing the white shirt. There's only one time when Fresh was wearing a white shirt on Fresh and Fit. Okay, everybody knows about that. That's what the time he's talking about. And yeah, I don't think that he should have done that. It was obviously a troll. That's what he said, later in the conversation. He's like, no, I was just trolling. When, it's like, well, why did you just air all my shit out just now? And obviously it wasn't a troll. You have a little bit of hatred for me. Lincoln came back and says, is Myron and the Tate still friends? Well, they hung out. And I'm guessing they're still friends, but I think Andrew Tate was just like, I'm not going to do your podcast. I don't know if he said that, but he just didn't do it right then. And there was a clip of Fresh saying that, hey, we're going to get the Tates on. Actually, hold on. Let me. 1 second, guys. Let's go here.
Here, Miami.
Hold on 1 second. I want to find it. Okay, yeah. So the Tates' U.S. vacation is over. Not a single collab with FNF. Breaking. The Tates brothers are going back to Romania in a private jet. Innocent men don't run. And hold on. Let me watch. 1 second. Let me find it.
A point to say I'm jealous.
Let me find.
At least I was
An alpha would
find the thing I was talking about.
We had a.
Sorry for the delay, guys. We got some.
Maybe
getting probably the house.
Find it. It's not. This is all like
#1 series.
And then you said I made a mistake.
Competent personal life.
As much as I hate to.
Whether you're collecting.
Oh, you know what? It's gonna be under my
save.
saved. Now that I think about it, I don't even know why. Let me just go under my save here. All right. So let me see.
And we're gonna go.
Yep, here it is. Okay, hold on. Let's put it back. Make sure the volume is all the way up. Okay, here we go. I think the title of this one is Fresh announced Andrew Tate for the pod a few weeks ago, but they never went on. What happened? Here we go. Wait, hold on. What are you guys saying? K5 says, she looks hard in the face. Does she look like her name could be Hank by looking at her face? Bro, yeah, I mean, the thing is, she's got a BBL. She's got a lot of face work. She looks hard in the face. People are saying she might be a transformer. And it's kind of crazy because we were talking, somebody made a joke. I don't know which hustler did it. I don't even want to say who, I don't even want to say the wrong name, but someone said that Fresh could go to Thailand and say like, hey, they go to Thailand and just because he wanted to experiment and try with that ladyboy thing. And then this happened. So, I mean, it's kind of wild how we can speak stuff into existence. And, who's to say that this is an actual ladyboy? We don't know. But what did Fresh say? If he ever posts his girl online, it's not his girl, But I don't know. He's doing it. He's doing the same thing he did with Daisy. Kama says that recent stuttering clip of Fresh on Reddit is hilarious, bro. It is, and you know we're gonna get to it, but this is the announcement that Fresh wanted to put about the Tates.
We have confirmation. We're bringing on the podcast.
God damn it, dude! This volume is crap. Hold on, let me make sure this volume is up. Where are we at? We're at 400. Let's bring it to 500. Why is it's like whenever I hear a clip of Fresh, it's just super low. Okay, let's try that again.
We have confirmation. We're bringing on the podcast. Andrew Tate! Pretty soon with some girl. Can't wait.
So that was the worst announcement I've ever.
Yeah, like I know. They got it.
It's Fresh, bro.
They got it. It's all good. It's all good. Can't wait.
It's Fresh, bro. There's no build up.
Don't worry, nigga. I know.
It's like.
Hey man, W Tate, bro. W Tate.
What a glazer! What a total glazer! So I had to go ahead and comment on this because
I think it's a little.
Sheesh. Okay, I had to go ahead. Ooh, hold on. So I went and commented. Let me find it real quick. I put Walter is the biggest glazer. I mean networker in his Andrew Tate Aikido hoodie. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but this is when he was in Romania, and he had the freaking Aikido hoodie with Andrew Tate on it. Like, you're a fucking glazer, bro. You're a fucking glazer. So yeah, just had to do that little side mission there. But let's get back to this hater, this wonderful hater.
Nigga,
That's
first
just
of all,
whack, bro.
what do you do, bro?
That's just whack.
What
You're
do
just
you
a
do?
whack ass nigga, bro.
What do you do, bro?
And you think it's funny?
See, the
it's not
audience
funny,
doesn't
nigga.
even
You're
know who you
weird,
are,
bro.
but they know who I am.
All right, let me deal with this, bro.
Crazy.
So look,
Yeah, dude, the people that know Walter Weeks, Fresh Print CEO, man, it's not a good name, bro. There's a lot of people that hate you, man. And yeah, maybe maybe it's like there's no bad press, I guess, to Fresh. I guess he's just like, hey, the more people that know me, the better. Who knows, you know? Who everybody loves me. They love how I floss. They love how I have my cars. They love how I have my women. In parentheses, you gotta have the women in air quotes there.
Again,
you pay for box Fresh. We know it.
Bro, you gotta. I think you're in your fit of rage. You don't even understand. Like, look, you don't like Fresh. You think that he's not useful to the show. Fine, bro. But what I'm telling you is, there would be no show if it weren't for him, bro. I don't know why you don't understand this.
That's not true, bro. I think you could have done everything you've done either by yourself or with somebody else, bro.
I agree 100%. I think Myron, when there's a will, there's a way. You would have found your way into the Rumble deal or maybe even a different streaming platform, whatever. You would have found a way to keep the monetization going. And if you lost it like you did on Twitch, you know, like you did, maybe you probably even went to Kick. He probably would have gone to Kick and maybe done it, you know, if he hadn't got the Rumble deal. He probably would have gone to Kick and maybe it would have been with Aiden Ross and all that stuff. So I think at the time, Sneeko was like bouncing around between Rumble and Kick. So yeah, I definitely think that when there's a will, there's a way. I definitely think that Myron would have found another way to keep the podcast going. If Fresh wanted to split, I think it would have been fine. David says the man Fresh is socially awkward and embarrassing to watch. I get secondhand embarrassment all the time, and I probably have cringed maybe 15 to 20 years off my life for when Fresh says he has game. Whenever he says I have game, I'm just like, oh, and then I feel like a piece of me has died. Because I'm just like, this guy is so fucking deluded, man. It's crazy. But I'm like, no, dude, if you take away the money, take away the podcast, you're just a slubby guy, man, that stutters. And, you know, that's it, man. It's not, I mean, you don't have much to offer. So, but I'm not hating. I'm just calling what it is, bro.
I don't think he's done anything that is like irreplaceable or like could not be, you know what I'm saying, outsourced or anything like that. I don't think it's anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Look, you called into the show asking a question. What part of we were demonetized, okay? What part of we were demonetized on YouTube and Fresh secured a deal that allowed us to continue to do the show at a high level and keep doing what we're doing, and in some cases even be able to upgrade? What part of that do you not understand, bro?
you would have found another way to monetize, bro. Like you would have gone on X, you probably would have gone the whole Sneeko route, you know, getting paid pennies on X, you know, you would have been posting lives on there, you know. I honestly think that you wouldn't have just given up. You know, you have too much of a drive to just give up. And yeah, you would have found a way to keep going, bro.
I do understand that.
Okay, so then, if you understand that,
I
then
do
how is
understand
Fresh
that.
useless?
I just think that you could have done. I
How
just
is
think
he
that you
useless?
could have done that as well.
No.
This is my point.
No.
I think you could have done it as
Yeah,
well.
see, Myron right now is just he's playing this like, no, I don't have the confidence to go alone and do it on my own. And I'm just like, no, I think when you get pushed to the limit, you know, I think you would find a way, bro. And this whole like him saying this right now is giving Fresh a reason to be around. That's just, I mean, it's why he's saying it. It's why he's saying it.
Which therefore makes what he did not matter, not really that significant, because you or someone else or a business partner could have done the exact same thing. It's not like he's just some master communicator that can just make deals that no one else can do. The nigga can't even talk, bro.
I actually am, by the
the
way,
nigga
bro.
can't talk.
You know what's funny? You know what's
like
funny,
you're
bro?
talking about a man that can't even
You know what's funny? You know what's funny, bro?
talk, bro.
You know what's funny? I've gone to some of your favorite YouTubers, their deals as well. I just don't talk about it. And it's funny because
I would have been like, who? No, because I don't believe you. I don't believe you gotten anybody a deal. Who, if we could just think of anybody famous, who do you think Fresh was able to get a deal? Who? I don't think anybody. I don't think so.
I'm not the most articulate person. I know that part. But I'm still here on the show and you're still watching it. So I didn't say, bro, your hate towards me.
Yeah, but
is
nobody
irrelevant.
wants
I
you
could
on
care
the show,
less.
though. That's the point.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, Fresh, if you are off the show, people are always just like W show or W Myron or like nobody's asking where Fresh is if Fresh is not on the show. So I think it's funny. Bro. But yeah, dude, that's Cabos. Exactly. He should have named the YouTubers. Yeah, bro. Like, I don't know. I can't even fathom anybody that can even say, yeah, Fresh. It's because of Fresh. You know, that wasn't already established. That's in their circle of people. Everybody that's in their circle of people have already been wildly successful. That's just how they network. They network with people that are more successful than them or have a, you know, equal size audience and stuff like that. I don't ever see anybody that is down like that. You know, like I was trying to think because they had that one guy, KT Hustles on. Okay, KT Hustles, he was the Amazon guy that had his little system, whatever. He was on the show maybe like 4 or 5 times, whatever. Okay, he's starting to post more now, and maybe Fresh, like maybe put him on maybe and said, hey, like I can give you some clippers, whatever, if you want to get some clips for your people to go to your thing. Because I don't even know. I think KT Hustles has a pretty successful YouTube channel because it's basically built up on that. But I don't even know. I don't think it's nobody. Yeah, I was like, I can't even think of any high profile YouTubers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that fuck with them. Like all I'm thinking about is people that they try to collaborate with. And but no, I mean everybody that's been on the show pretty much has like their own established following. So yeah, I can't think of anybody that Fresh put on. I can't think of anybody.
Nobody wants you there.
Guess what? People still watch my show,
like watching you
and they're
is
still watching
like,
right now.
All right,
So you
man,
can
we
watch
gotta
something else.
listen to Fresh.
You can
All
watch
right,
somewhere
let's just,
else.
you know what I'm saying,
And
listen
that's
to
the
Fresh
point, bro.
talk. You feel me? I can't wait
your
until it's
dumbass,
over.
bro, is
Like, you know what I mean? That's
calling,
kind of what
trying to
you are.
create
You're like
Yeah, see this is kind of going off the rails now because now they're shouting over each other. I don't know if you guys remember what I said last episode, but you know, like if you get on a call with Fresh and Fit, make sure that you get your point out and it's like it's strong enough to like let them get their points out and just be patient. Let them speak. If Fresh is going to be the one to counter speak, he's going to hang himself. You got to let him hang himself. So let him get his points out. Maybe you have a pad of paper. He said, I've actually helped out a couple YouTubers, but I don't want to say, I would have made that as a note on my little notepad. And then when he's done, I'd be like, name one YouTuber that you put on. Name one. And then watch him hang himself. That's just like it's so easy. That's all you'd have to do.
Like a distraction.
no
you're like
show, bro.
you're like a speed
Hold on,
bump.
hold on.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Why don't-
niggas
hold on,
gotta
hold
niggas gotta
So,
like
you gotta-
endure you.
caller,
You know what I'm saying?
caller.
Like, but
Listen,
niggas don't
right,
watch
bro?
it because
People have to endure you. It's true. It's true, man. You know, it's like we were waiting for the stutters to happen. When they do, it's a joyous occasion.
Honestly, yeah, for me, make your own show and do what we do, please.
You
I encourage
drag
you.
the show.
Hey, you know what? Fresh told me the same thing. He says, do your own show with your own points of view, whatever, and make it to our level and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I think I will do that. You know, but at the first time I was like, I'm not gonna like make my show all about you. I'm not gonna make it in your same lane, whatever. But I will. At least people like to hear my point of view on things, and you know, people wanted more fresh and fit content. So I'm not gonna like not give people what they want. But if there's other stuff I want to talk about, I'm gonna talk about other stuff. But right now, this stuff is it's pretty easy for me to be in a lane talking about, because yeah, man, these these guys are they do feed us a lot of content.
Bro.
Make
see what
your
I'm
own
saying?
show.
You
do this
drag the show
exact
down.
same
Your
thing,
brain
and then tell me if
doesn't
it's easy.
process information
Tell me if it's
fast
easy, bro.
enough. When you're talking to women, they're outsmarting you, bro. They're out debating you, bro.
Definitely
you know what I'm saying?
Yo,
and they're
definitely
dumb.
Caller,
These
caller,
bitches
caller,
are dumb as
caller,
shit,
caller,
and they're
caller.
outsmarting you, bro.
Yo, caller.
You're stupid.
Caller,
bro.
look.
You're actually
So
stupid
are you, bro? You're really
in
dumb.
real life.
Caller,
You're super dumb, bro.
Caller.
And you're
Okay.
broke.
No, you're super
And
dumb.
you're broke, bro.
All
Broke
right.
and dumb is bad.
You're super dumb.
Yo, caller. So let me ask you this, bro. So you said that I would have been able to do this without Fresh's help, blah, blah, blah. So you do understand, right? The reason
The same tactic that Myron is doing, he's going to reiterate the point that you made, and he's going to be like, okay, so let's explore this. Let's explore your argument. He did the same thing with me.
why I'm able to research the things that I do, make the arguments that I make, and be able to, you know, give you guys a certain level of content and comprehension. You do understand, like, I sit inside all day, and I'm like just studying shit, reading shit, whatever.
Yeah, what is Fresh doing?
Hey, hold on, I'm gonna talk about that here in a second.
Fresh is playing video games. He's like out here tricking and stuff, and you know, he's just paying for box, bro.
The reason why I'm able to be so razor sharp on the show and do the things that I do and debate the girls the way that I do and be able to research the things that I do and do another political show, etc. I spend a lot of time researching and looking into things so that I can make sure that I'm sharp for the show. I would not be able to do that if it weren't for Fresh taking the meetings, meeting with the people, CEOs of Rumble, meeting with
Cook Benny came back. He says, "And you're broke" is also one of Fresh's go-to lines. Yeah, he's used that with women actually. That "and you're broke," whatever. But yeah, I might have to make the list of all of his one-liners and maybe just include that on a page of the one-liners that he has. And I mean, I'm just trying to figure out new ways to add to the book. It's got to be just a page of one-liners. I can do that.
the people over at other companies, setting up deals, networking, talking to people. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do. I'd have to be outside more and do all this shit that I don't want to do, to be honest with y'all. I don't.
So this point that Myron is making, I would have asked him. I'm like, okay, so who was responsible for the whole Jubilee thing when you were talking fit versus fat? Was Fresh anything? Did Fresh have anything to do with that? What about Tim Pool? You know, were you able to get on Tim Pool, whatever? What about when you were on Bradley Martin with Sneeko? Was that Myron? Was that Fresh as well? You know, it's like the only thing that I ever see Fresh ever like taking responsibility for or claiming that he did was when he gets the rappers on Fresh and Fit. And, you know, it's like, and I think actually the most recent person, which I can't remember his name, he flaked on them. And I can't remember his name, but you guys probably know in the chat. He was supposed to come on the show. It was one of Fresh's connections, whatever. And he didn't want to come on. And I don't even think he gave him a reason either. He just flaked completely. And I would say all of the guests that Fresh secures, they end up flaking. Waka Flocka flaked. Oh no, he went on the show, but then he left halfway through. What was it? The guy, what's that guy that who's the guy that made the sex tape with Kim Kardashian? Ray J. He had Ray J on there. Ray J he crashed out. He ended up leaving. Who else? Bunch of people, man. Fresh was responsible for Asian doll coming on there. We all know how that ended. So yeah, Fresh's connections aren't necessarily benefiting the show if the guests don't show up or they end up leaving halfway through. I don't think that's a good enough networking skill that he has.
I don't care about meeting new people. I'm introverted when it comes to meeting new people like that. I don't want to do that shit. So Fresh does all that shit for me. Now here's the thing. You guys unfortunately don't see this stuff because you only see what's on camera. But the reason why I'm able to do the things that I do, right, and work as hard as I work.
Antonio Brown, that's an AB. That's another person that that came on and he ended up leaving because he was just, that was another one. Thank you, man. That was another connection that Fresh was like, yeah, man, he bragged about getting him on, and then he left, and then he ended up spending Halloween with Daisy, and he spent good money for her. Yeah, so it was hoes before bros on that Halloween.
Behind the scenes, or sorry, on the show, is because Fresh does a lot of the work behind the scenes to ensure that we have the funding and the ability to do what we do. So you cannot have Myron Gaines operating on all the cylinders if I don't have my partner who does a lot of the business negotiations and shit like that I don't want to fucking do, to be honest with y'all.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like Myron is like the mother telling us how our stepfather Fresh is worth a damn. Or not even our stepfather, our actual father that basically went to the store to get milk and never came back, and now he's come back 20 years later, now that we're fully grown. Myron sounds like the mom saying that, no, like your dad, he really is a good man and stuff. You should really give him a chance, whatever. It's just like, I don't know, for some reason, that parallel relates to this for me. Like, he's really caping hard for Fresh, but it's like, Fresh has not given us any evidence to actually believe any of this. Like, he has to really stand on his own 2 feet and show us that he is worth something. But he hasn't done that.
I don't want to meet a lot of these influencers. I don't give a fuck. Like this Kobe Covington guy, I don't give a fuck.
Kobe Covington, that's the guy that basically flaked on them. He completely, he didn't call him or nothing. He just like, nah, I'm not going. Fuck that.
Fuck about him. You think I want to talk to that nigga? I don't.
And of course, Myron is now going to burn a bridge with him. So now there's not going to be like another show of him coming on later because Myron is saying this. Maybe, because I don't know, maybe they might have another show with him because you know how Myron is. Myron will say all this shit about a person and then they'll bring him back. Remember he said all that shit about Aiden Ross, and then they had Aiden Ross on the show, not like actually physically on the show. He was on, I guess, like a Zoom call or whatever. So they squashed the beef with that. And then there was another one that Myron said he was, I think, they talked trash about what's his face? God, I can't think of his name. Charleston White. They said all this stuff about Charleston White, and then they ended up doing more content with Charleston White with Vitaly catching predators. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to pin Myron down in terms of his loyalty. He's like, look, if I worked with you, man, I'm loyal to you for life. We can squash any beef that we have, any misunderstanding. I'm going to talk my shit, but if you ever want to come back, collab or whatever, our door's always open. It's just so weird.
To be honest with y'all, I was going to go do Unusual Suspects today and just stay up there, do that shit, and let Fresh do the interview. So he does a lot of the shit that I don't want to do. He talks to a lot of the people that I don't want to talk to. Okay? He does that.
Dude, everybody in the comments are just like, dude, this is fucking coke, man. Like, you keep trying to give us reasons why, why Fresh is the person he is, why he's so useful, because he does all the talking to all these people because you're now introverted. You don't establish any connections. You just stay in your room all day and all this stuff, which, I can believe that. I can believe that people should not be taking dating advice from Myron because Myron he's a hermit. He's a hermit that has dreams of having 4 wives one day. Do we still think that's happening? I don't know.
Right? So,
you would actually like Kobe Covington because he's a conservative and he's kind of similar to you.
Bro. I don't give a fuck about that nigga. The point I'm trying to make is the point I'm.
Cabos is saying Myron is basically admitting that he's also socially awkward. Yeah, bro. I'm glad that Myron is unapologetic when he speaks. He just speaks facts. And damn the consequences, damn what people think, whatever. He's gonna say it, he'll say, look, I know Fresh doesn't explain things, whatever, like that, whatever, but this is what's really going on, you know. And then he'll say something about himself, like, yeah, man, it's I like to stay inside, you know. And I mean, I don't know, something about that. It's like I think he understands his situation, that he knows that he has challenged people. He said a lot of crazy shit, a lot of crash out stuff. He's challenged, you know, black people to come, you know, fight him and stuff like that. They got to read like a couple pages of like a Dr. Seuss book, whatever, because he doesn't want to beat up anybody that, you know, is retarded, you know. And yeah, I think he knows that if he goes outside, dude, he's gonna get touched, is what the kids like to say. So yeah, he stays inside out of fear. He moves in fear.
The issue here is that he's able to do the things that I don't want to do, okay? And that I might not necessarily be as good at, because I'm not the nicest guy. I'm not the most friendly guy. I don't want to talk to these niggas. I don't give a fuck. Because to me, I don't like talking to regular people that are blue pilled. I just don't.
What about Destiny? I thought Destiny was blue pilled. Like, what's going on? You love Destiny. You love Destiny. He's like your favorite blue pill person. Yeah, I think that there's a little bit of holes in his story about, you know, like, I don't like talking to people. I'm not the nicest guy. I don't know. I think he's just trying to create some type of value for Fresh, and that's all he's focused on doing.
Also,
Okay,
you can do what I
so-
can't do as well.
So my thing is, he
So it works
allows me
out.
to do what I.
Did Fresh just say something that we already knew? Plus, you can do something that I can't do, but he can do a lot of things that you can't do. He's charismatic. He has lucid points. Okay, he has great examples. Not all of them are great. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy because a lot of Myron's points are tarnished by, you know, the racism, you know. Like, I think if Myron wasn't a racist, I think he'd be all right, but he's unfortunately he says he's racist towards everybody, but if you were to put a chart down of all the people he's been racist with, you know, yeah, I mean, we know black people will probably take the brunt of it, you know, the Jews are not far behind. You got, it's very I mean, he does say Asians and stuff like that. White people, he said white women age like milk. I remember he went viral for that. But I mean, it's still, it doesn't happen too often with anybody else. It's majority black, majority Jewish people.
I do best, and he does what he does best. You don't like that. You might not like him, but the reality is this. The fact is this. If Fresh did not do what he did, you would not have Fresh Fit today. We would have been done back in August of 2023. That's what I'm trying.
That's a incorrect point, but I understand why he's trying to stand on that one, because he's trying to really die on this hill for that to be his sticking point, to be like, no, this is actually how it would be. When there's no way you would have known that. That's just something that you're creating as a marker. You're creating that as a marker that, you know, this is what it would be if Fresh wasn't here, you know? So we just need to figure out a way to counteract that. And, you know, I think this guy does it pretty well.
I'm trying to explain to you, bro. You would not continue to get Fresh and Fit the way that you're getting it now had Fresh not been around and made moves for us back in 2023. Yo, I get it. You got grievance.
I hate Big Mo for that.
This is what Fresh. You don't like the way he speaks. You don't like him. Cool, but it's irrefutable.
I don't think he's loyal either. It's not just that I don't think he's talented.
Hold on.
I also think he's disloyal.
That's your opinion,
I also
bro.
think he's like fake.
That's your opinion, bro.
That's your opinion,
You know,
bro.
so yeah. So
That's your
the being useless thing on the show is one aspect of his character.
I'm sure.
But then I also think he's fake. I also think he's disloyal.
These are your opinions,
You know what I'm
bro.
saying? I also think like there'll be
opinions.
moments where, like, say you're doing a show with him and it's just the two of you guys doing the show, and you'll say something, you'll make a point, and I know you're going to say, look, we don't have to agree on everything, and I agree with that. You don't have to agree with everything, but the certain pushbacks that he has, they don't even make any sense. It's like he's just pushing back for the sake of pushing back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hold on, caller. This is the thing that you don't understand, right? This show has two members. We don't think the same, and obviously, because you don't understand how podcasts work. If you did, you'd understand why I do what I do. Also,
Yeah, but when you push back, you don't make sense, though.
Dude,
but like, I'm not saying you should agree with everything he says, but when you're going to push back on a point, have a reason. You know, substantiate your pushback. You know what I'm saying? You'll push back. You should do. And then
Dude, I'm reading the comments. They're just like, dude, this caller won. He won, man. It's so true. I mean, he really did. He stayed on point this whole time. It was good. But you know, just don't push it too far. Don't result to name calling and stuff like that. Just keep it on point, man. And yeah, I mean, he's already won the comment crowd, that everybody that's watching this. You got like a couple of people that are just spamming like L call or whatever, but majority of these people are just like, yo, Fresh is fucking cooked, bro. Like, this is bad. Like, this is real bad.
it's like, you should that makes no sense, though. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And then you tell.
See, Fresh is coming back with the same point again, man. It's just like, come on, dude. This is like, Fresh sounds like a broken record. Like, he's a broken record in how he deals with things.
Tell me what you think happens, because it's funny, you only see one aspect of it, but there's so many things that go on in the background and the front page you don't even know. But again, this is your opinion. Keep your opinion, bro. It's fine. Say what you want. But honestly speaking, bro, you don't know shit about the show. You don't. Or me.
That's what he always says. I'm like, dude, this guy wouldn't have any of these arguments if he didn't know anything about the show. So I don't see how you can make that statement, Fresh, and stand on it, because he wouldn't have all of these different arguments for you. That you're just like, you're really just trying to, like, you have these canned responses like, oh, you don't watch the show, so you don't know anything about me. And I'm like, dude, I think this guy knows a lot about you, and you just haven't really made your position. You haven't been confident in your position to actually tell everybody what you do. So you like to keep it a mystery. But I think once you were to reveal what you actually do, people would be like, oh, wow, like, you really are fucking useless. Cookman says, I got it. The fourth head of the Mount Rushmore cooking FF should be Tariq Nasheed. Bro, oh man, that's a good one. Absolutely. I would totally do that. Shit. Coke Benny, are you gonna use those skills of Photoshop, man? I can't wait to see it, man. I know if anybody can do it, I know Coke Benny can do it right. There you go. We got all 4 heads now. Actually, we don't know what this guy looks like. Unfortunately. Damn, that sucks. I don't know how this hater right here, I don't know how you can represent him, unfortunately.
You don't know me at all, bro.
How do I not know shit about the show? I just named specific things that you've done on the show. How do I not know nothing about the show?
You don't know who I've actually... Dude, it's funny. You said Sneeko? Bro, you don't know what I did for Sneeko. You no idea what I do. And also speaking, bro, your opinion to me doesn't matter.
What did you do for Sneeko? That's what I'm wondering. Now he said, he's like, you don't know what I've done for Sneeko. What have you done for Sneeko? Besides criticize him online, tell him that he made a mistake. I don't think there's anything Fresh has done for Sneeko. I think if anything, Sneeko has brought value to them, but Sneeko brought a lot of bad to them as well. He was the one that brought in Nick Fuentes and all other stuff. So yeah, I do think Sneeko is responsible for a lot of the downfall of Fresh and Fit, but he's also responsible for a lot of the good connections as well. Cook May says, I'll think of something. I know you will. I know. That's why I said that.
Well, Sneeko did a lot of things for you too, but the things that you've done to Sneeko, I don't think he's done to you. Like the weirdo activity that you've done to Sneeko, I don't think he's done.
Kyle says, I hate how he keeps repeating. You don't know what I do. Bro, I know, man. It's like, that's why he put it on a t-shirt, because he says it so goddamn much, man. It's like this guy, he's just a bunch of catchphrases, a bunch of cope responses, and it's just really, it's like, I wish after 4 or 5 years, whatever, of doing podcasting and stuff, that you would actually get your arguments in line, you know? But I know I've said this before. I said this last week that Fresh does not have the ability to look inward, you know, to really understand his position and have a confident stance on it and be able to articulate it in a way that is clear and concise, that would really put to rest all of this like mystery around his, standing at Fresh and Fit. People really don't give a fuck about what you have to say. We only care about your results. But the fact is, you don't show any tangible results. Everything that you've ever contributed to the podcast has been a dumb one-liner, a corny joke, just you know, I don't know. I can't think of anything. You know, you're like a broken record repeating yourself, bro.
Not to you.
So at the end of the day, bro, what I've done,
And
I
you
don't
can
talk
make
about
the
because
argument.
it's-
You can make the argument he has more of a reason to
Uh-huh.
snake you or to like expose you on platforms because you're always taking shots at him all the time, but he still doesn't do it,
bro.
See, that shows you his character.
You don't understand,
you see
bro.
what I'm saying?
Mystical go back.
So
Hold on. Mystical.
And what you guys said last stream that, you know, Sneeko genuinely felt hurt by, you know, Fresh trying to, you know, expose him and call him out and everything on his own podcast because Sneeko didn't want to do a fresh start. So then Fresh and Gary wanted to like go back and forth about Sneeko and everything like that. It's just like, yeah, it was really fucked up that he was doing all this trash talk, you know, and all Sneeko said was like, dude, he can never be my friend, man, because the way that he acts, the way that he even like, you know, he chooses to go public with all this stuff, you know, it's like, it's very fucking feminine. Exo Charles came back. He says he himself doesn't even know what he does. That's the thing, man. I've said that he is not confident in his contributions to be able to articulate them in a very clear and concise manner. You know, that's why I have to fucking do it. That's why I have to fucking put it in a book so everybody else can understand what he fucking does. It might end up being just a work of fiction because I'm just spitballing right now myself. Shit.
I just think you're a weirdo, and I think you're jealous of these guys because they're smarter than you and more talented than you.
You may not like how me.
Jealous because, you know, Sneeko more you know, more versatile, more eloquent speaking, you know, more charismatic. You know, I think there's a little bit of jealousy there. You know, which is very obvious.
All of this weirdo shit that you do.
But it's what it is, bro. And I think, bro, like, I understand.
Because you don't even be making
you don't
sense.
like me.
Like, yo,
but you
when you
have
was on No Jumper,
actual points
nobody
that are
in the
real.
room
Your
was
points,
feeling
bro,
it.
are so
like,
like.
no, everybody was in the room
fresh,
like,
bro.
why is he
I don't
saying
like
this?
fresh. But I didn't,
like, go back and watch. Go back and watch that No Jumper episode, bro. Everybody's in the
This is so intelligible. Like, why, Fresh? Why are you talking over me? I would have been like, no, you can't overtalk me. I would just say that, man, and I would actually study a Kevin Samuels video and how his cadence and how he says it, or maybe even get the soundbite and just play it. Like, no, you don't overtalk me. I would do that, man. I would totally say that on my call in just to say it and just see him shut up. If he shut up, that would be great. That would be awesome.
the room and they're like, why is he like? Everybody's like, you know what I'm saying, giving Sneeko props.
I guarantee you,
giving
bro.
him
Whatever you do
credit,
for a living, bro.
giving him his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Even Myron. But here you come, just saying a bunch of negative shit. Bringing up shit that nobody even knows about.
We need to know.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's weird, bro. You're a weirdo, bro.
Yeah. So here comes the deflection. Fresh is now going to turn it back on the caller and ask him to now reveal himself so that we can critique him. When really, that's not what you guys asked for. You didn't ask for us to call in so that you could critique us. You asked for haters to call in so that we could critique you and call you guys on your bullshit. But now that you guys are getting fucking cooked, now you want to turn the tables.
What do you do for a living, bro?
Why does that matter? What's that got to do with what we're talking about? Because I'm talking.
How is it important, Fresh? How is it important so that you could label this guy and dismiss this guy because he's not making the same amount of money that you are, or he's not? The thing is, like, there's no point in this. Like, he want to now compare bank accounts. You know, it's like that doesn't fix your stutter. That doesn't fix your performance on this podcast, which is the whole point of this guy calling in.
Bro, what does that got to do with what we're talking about right now, bro?
What do you do for a living, bro?
You see what I mean? Like this, what I'm saying. You can't
do shit,
respond to what I'm saying.
You don't do anything.
So you
I'm sure this caller does something to sustain himself. I don't think he does nothing, but I definitely think that he has taken a vested interest in hate watching this show so that maybe he doesn't even hate watch it. Maybe he's listened to it he said he's listened to it for a couple years now. And he's witnessed the downfall. And I think he's taken other people's points. He's just like, yeah, man, I definitely think that you have not really earned your seat at the table.
Trying to come at my career or what I do for a living. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Here. What do you do for a living,
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. The show is about calling in.
Yeah, this is 100% deflection, and I wouldn't accept it either. You know, that was actually why my call, why I opened with what I do is analyze things that need to be fixed. And from watching your show, like I basically wanted to open with that so that I could kind of squash this question, this little direction that he's trying to do. Because I think it's very important to at least establish some your way in the world, like your position in the world, so that you can be like, look, I can take an analytical perspective of something that I see that is going wrong or going off the rails and stuff, and I can figure out ways to fix it because that's what I do. I'm a problem solver. That's what I do for a living. So what I can tell you is that you asking me what I do, I can let you know what I do. I'm a person who analyzes things that need to be fixed. Simple as that. You know, you don't even know the company. You don't even know any of that. What you need to know is that that's what I do for a living. So there you go.
And talking about y'all. So that's what I'm doing.
You said your piece.
Why
bro.
you asking me
do
what
for
I
a
do?
living? No, what do you do? Because you want to give advice,
Yo,
bro.
that's irrelevant.
No,
That's irrelevant, bro.
You want to
That's
critique and give
irrelevant.
advice?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is irrelevant to the whole conversation. This caller is not on trial. He is putting you on trial. So now you need to do your best to defend him, to defend yourself and your position, not turn it back on him. That's not how a prosecution works.
Sure, no problem. That's your opinion. What do you do for a living?
I said that's irrelevant.
That's the point. You don't know shit. So your opinion, bro, is irrelevant. Thank you very much.
I don't know how you strung those two things together, man. Irrelevant. Oh yeah, you don't know what you do. That's no. That's not right.
What was you saying? Yo, Myron, that made no sense, bro. You have to admit that made no sense. The nigga asked me what I do for a living. I said it's irrelevant. And then he said, see, that's what I mean. You don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? What?
Okay, look, man.
What?
Look, bro.
That made no sense, bro.
Okay, yo.
The nigga's dumb, bro.
Right.
The nigga has a low IQ, bro. Like,
hey, all right, yo, it's just very simple, dude. Look, you're not in business with Fresh, so you don't have to, like, you don't trust him or you think he's a snake. That's fine.
But he's gonna betray you, bro.
Sure.
I'm telling you, he's gonna betray you.
Yeah, sure. I disagree.
Dude, I love reading these comments, dude. Every comment is like, dude, this caller's low-key cooking. People are just like, dude, everything he's saying is true. Everything he's saying is right. It's just like, dude, this is great.
Would have been a while ago.
It would have been a while ago, in my opinion.
I think he already betrayed you, but you just don't know about it.
Okay, so yeah, that's not a good enough argument for us saying that, oh, if I would have betrayed Myron, it would have happened a while ago. No, bro. I think the reason why you're sticking around is because you can still have a platform. There's nothing about this whole thing about like, I would have left. No, I mean, no, if you would have left, you would have gone back to gold digger pranks, whatever. You would, what have you done? Doing the vlogs and stuff where you're, traveling and stuff. Like, no one, I don't think anybody would. The thing is, you're gonna always have people that are gonna want to watch you. Okay, so that might just be the thing, is that Fresh won't push the envelope with his content. It will be more just like flexing content. Maybe people are into like travel vlogs and stuff like that. There are a certain amount of people on YouTube that do that stuff and they're very successful. People love to watch new places because people are usually consumed with, working a lot and not being able to take vacation. So being able to kind of escape through somebody else, sure. But the thing is, you'd have to listen to Fresh talk in the video, and that wouldn't be a selling point. Cuck Bay says, this is the equivalent of Myron's, do you have to be a mathematician? Oh man, yeah, it has no relevance in the argument whatsoever. And yeah, Myron has a lot of those. He has a lot of those like traps that to say like, look, I don't have to be a mathematician to tell you to. The thing is, you don't like the way that I'm saying it. It's the tone, but it's not the actual message that you're hearing. You're just hearing the tone. I'm like, no, bro. It's like, the point is bad. You're making a bad point. Yeah, you're right. It's a non sequitur. Sonic says Van Cleef bracelet. literally one of the moments he betrayed Myron. And if Myron said that he knew the whole time, then he had betrayed his audience. Dude, that's a good point, man. Because, dude, he went all in after that. He went all in on defending Fresh and saying, look, dude, he didn't pay for the bracelet. You know, he was operating off of what Fresh said, you know, and Fresh, he was standing. Well, he wasn't standing. He was sitting, you know, trying his best, sweating a little bit about the whole Van Cleef bracelet. He ain't got no proof. Okay. There's no receipt at the time, you know, and there's no statement from Daisy at the time to convict me of this crime, you know. But then he comes back, you know, a couple months later and he's just like, you know what? Yeah, I didn't realize that, you know, she was from I didn't realize that Van Cleef was made in China, and, you know, she knew the real thing from the fake thing, you know. I try to get off with, like, I try to spend $5,000, you know, on a fake bracelet, and then, you know, she took me to the cleaners and I had to come up another 15. So I was in the hole for 20 grand for a girl that I just met. We'd only been together for about 17 days, man. So, yeah. Yeah, Fresh's game is solid, just in case you guys were wondering.
We got the
but
money,
I think he's gonna like betray you in a major way.
We got the money.
You know, one day, because
matter,
at the end of the day, you're the kind of guy you're gonna stand on what you believe in.
Okay.
See, this the problem.
And do you think Fresh would actually like ride off into the sunset with the money that he has right now, or do you not think that he has money on? He would probably have to sell his car, probably downgrade a little bit, you know, and just I don't know, maybe move out of Miami too, because I think that money is pretty much drained. I don't think he has money like that. You know, he doesn't have investment properties like to the level where, you know, Myron says he has. But yeah, I don't know. I think that Fresh was not wise with his spending.
Myron, you're the type of person you're gonna stand for what you believe in, no matter what. You're gonna go against all odds. Fresh is weak. Okay, he's soft. He doesn't.
So I like what he said here. I would have phrased it a little bit different. I would have said Walter is weak. I would have said that, and then people would have been like, "Yo, bars."
Stand for anything. So the minute there's like real controversy where he feels like his back is against the wall and it's him versus you, he will betray you. The only reason he hasn't done it yet is because he needs you to survive. He's like a leech. You see what I'm saying? But the moment some opportunity comes across where he doesn't need you.
That's what I said. If something comes across, like say like an outside third party, whatever, sees Fresh and sees like some value in him, whatever, and is like, you know what? Let's give this guy a $10 million deal to do our dating show. You know, maybe don't really center it around him, but just have him host it because, you know, he's well known and stuff. We'll host it in Miami, whatever. And Fresh takes it. And he's like, actually, we're gonna continue this, whatever. And we're gonna film multiple seasons and everything. So it's gonna take him away from the podcast. Do you think Myron would continue the podcast without Fresh? I think he could. He could totally do it. He would take that opportunity to do it without Fresh. Maybe you would have Chris sit in, you know, or you would have anybody, any one of his connections, Andrew Wilson, anybody come in and just do the podcast with him, you know. But Myron has also run the podcast by himself too. I think he just needs to do it more. Once he does it more, he can be like, you know what? I know I was putting up an act saying that I couldn't do this podcast by myself, but you know, I already have another podcast I do all by myself. I don't say I couldn't do this one by myself, you know? And then Fresh just completely phases out because he's like, look, man, they got me on like a 5 or 3-5 year contract with this. Fresh would totally take it and he would totally leave Myron high and dry, you know? Because what is Fresh's net worth? You can't look it up right now. There's no way to pocket watch Fresh and know how much money he actually has. But if he were to get like this large sum of money come to him, I'm sure he would totally take it. That's just the character that Fresh is. Now, Myron, on the other hand, I don't think he would. I think if he had, I don't know. I don't think he would. I think he'd be like, no, he would probably push Fresh on it, you know, and be like, yeah, you could take, Fresh would probably want to do that. He's like, I wouldn't want to do it.
And he can go without you, he's going to take it, bro.
Again, he could have done that a long time ago. I've had a lot of bad press on me.
Okay, doing what? Well, doing what? He's going to take it. You could have done it a long time. Doing what?
You said what?
Hold on, caller. Do you know what I did before I met Myron?
So no, you say
No, that's another non sequitur that Fresh does when he says, "Do you know what I did before I met Myron?" Now, okay, you guys can say, okay, well, you were doing Wix, you were studying how to build up your social media, whatever, for about 5 years through paid courses. You were also working at Chick-fil-A. You were working at a call center at AT&T. You were part of the Coconut Rebellion back in Barbados. I don't know. What do you want me to say? Like, how far back do you want me to go? This whole thing, like, oh, I was successful before I met Myron. Well, I do think that you were working overtime at an IT call center, you know, and reading off of a script, you know, and you got overtime. So yeah, you put that money towards a real estate, and you know, you started making money and stuff like that, and that was it. So yeah, and then you know, you try to work for Grant Cardone, you failed with that. There's a lot. Okay, so I mean, the thing is, there's some people that know this and some people that don't know it. So Fresh is always going to be like, do you know what I did before I met Myron? Just be able to have that information, I guess, at your fingertips.
you could have done it a long time ago. What would he have done a long time ago without you?
This is
to
very
where you could have
important.
left you?
I knew he was going to say this is very important.
Very important, caller. Do you know what I did before I met Myron?
Be a widow ass nigga from Barbados.
You don't know anything. This is a problem, right, bro? Even without Myron, I would have did my own thing. I real estate.
Yeah, you would have done your own thing, man. You would have been doing gold digger pranks, walking around with a fart machine in Walmart, doing little pranks and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, you would have done that, and you would have been moderately successful because and then it would eventually would have crashed and burned because nobody, like, that whole genre of like pranking and stuff just kind of went out of style, man. And yeah, I think you would have worked a regular job, and that would have been it, man.
Investments,
like what? What was you gonna
job.
do?
And also, bro, you know what's funny? You know nothing about me. So your opinions, bro.
You know nothing about me. I mean, I think people know enough from just what you've presented. You know, we don't have to know every single detail about you in terms of your work ethic. We know that you like to show up to the job. I mean, that's one of the perks that I said about you is like, hey, at least you show up. But you know what? That could have been done with a mannequin and 4 buttons.
What was you gonna do?
And the funny part is, bro, is that like,
what was you gonna do? If you didn't meet Myron, right? How would you be the millionaire you are right now?
Last time I checked, bro, I asked you what you do for a living. You don't even know. So at that point,
you don't even know what you do for a living. No, he knows what he does. He just doesn't want to reveal it to you. And it doesn't matter what he does because he's not on trial here.
Bro, your shit's irrelevant.
No, I said if you said you would have did your own thing, so I'm asking you, what would you have done?
Yeah, your time, bro, is an L. You lost, nigga.
Yo, look, man. You think he's gonna snake me? I don't think he will. That's all that matters. I don't think he will. That's why obviously we're still, doing the show. It's going great. You think he's gonna snake me, but I don't think that's gonna happen, bro. And I think he had many opportunities to snake me, and he did, and he stood strong.
Dude, everybody's just like W caller. Dude, everybody is on this caller's side, man. It's so great.
By me when they try to cancel me for the shit that I said about when we brought Nick on.
Bro, Sonic says, bro, we don't know anything about him because he hasn't done anything. Lol. Well, I said this, that if you haven't done anything, then you can't brag about anything. So this whole, like, you don't know what I do is a deflection and a way to kind of like steer people off the path of like, well, I really don't do much. The stuff I do contribute is kind of not really that. It's kind of inconsequential, to be completely honest. All right. It's not to the level of what Myron does. He's a maniac, he's a workaholic. I like to relax, I like to play some Smash Brothers, and I like to pay for box.
Demonetized, them calling me a racist, all this shit. He stuck, he stood tall with me, man, helped us obviously continue to do the show, despite the fact they were demonetized. And again, obviously, you might not see all the things that I see behind the scenes, so you can feel the way that you feel, and that's fine. You think he's going to snake me, that's cool, man. That's your opinion. We can agree to disagree on that. Anything else?
Yes, we're going to agree to disagree on that. One other thing I want to say to you is I've noticed that, like, you'll have an opinion that's controversial, and when a lot of people start, for example, like, I was just going to use black women as an example. Like, I don't think black women is really your preference, but when there's, like, a lot of people trying to shame you for not liking them or not being that attracted to them, you'll be like, oh, nah, I was just joking around, da-da-da. But
Yeah, Myron has said that black women are on the bottom of the totem pole, so That was out of his own mouth. That was Myron.
feel like at the end of the day, if you don't like them, you should be able to just say that. And it shouldn't matter whether people don't like it or not or whatever. Like, if you don't like black women, just say, listen, they're not my type. I'm not attracted to
The guy said, W caller forever. Yeah, man. He has completely steered the entire crowd towards his side.
them. It is what it is. Like, people trying to shame you and say this, that, and the third, or you're racist or whatever, that shit is irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to pretend you're joking if you're not. You get what I'm trying to say?
Bro, see, you're like one of these like all or nothing black and white guys. I've said this before. I've dated black girls in the past. I do like them, but a majority of them I don't find it attractive. I've said this before. I don't like that. I'd be lying to you if I said, "Oh yeah, I don't fuck with black women at all." That'd be a lie. I've dealt with them before. They're a minority. They're not the most, right? And I find most of them as not attractive. But I'd be lying if I said, "I don't fuck with black women at all." It's not true. So I'm just being honest, bro.
No, and that's good. I'm just saying, like, when next time, because as you go along, people are gonna try to shame you for that. As you notice. And I'm saying when that.
Yeah, this is probably one of his first weak points of this whole grilling thing. I wouldn't have brought this up about the whole thing about. I mean, it is. I understand his point of view, like coming at this, because I think recently on the No Jumper podcast, Adam 22 did address this about them not liking black girls or whatever, and all Myron did was reiterate the situation, how it went down. How the chat was asking him if they had known anything about the at blacked or whatever, and they were like, oh, and then he just basically retold the whole situation. It was like, oh, we're not night riders, we don't dabble in the dark. When it was like, you could have just said a little bit more that no, I've dealt with black women before. I don't have a problem with them. They're just not my number one preference. He could have just said like that, but he didn't.
That happens. Just don't try to backpedal or anything. Just stand on what you believe.
When have I backpedaled ever on that? When have I backpedaled ever on it?
Well, I mean, I feel like sometimes when you're like, oh, no, I'm just joking, da-da-da. Come on, bro. You're not joking. You know what I mean? You're not joking.
No. Give me an example where I backpedaled on it, bro.
Well, they did say the Knight Rider thing was a joke on the Flagrant 2 podcast. They said that was a joke. They're like, when really it was like, well, I don't think that was all the way a joke. I think there's a little bit of truth in there.
I mean, it wasn't just earlier some dude. I couldn't understand what he was saying, but he was saying some shit about black women, and he was like, bro, I just be joking around, da-da-da-da-da. But
when?
Come on, you mean that? You know what I'm saying? You mean it. You're not joking around. You're serious. And I'm not mad at you for that. I'm saying you should stand on that. That's what I'm saying.
Give me the interview and the time.
So here we go with Myron going for details. Okay, now I need to know the mother's name of Tristan Tate's baby mom. I need to know her name, whatever. It's like, now he's like, well, I need to know the date and the timestamp and the title of the video so I can, understand what you're talking about.
Timestamp where I backpedal on that shit.
Caller's line. You missed the whole argument.
Bro, why is Fresh interrupt? Yo, Fresh, when I was talking to you, you didn't want to talk, but now you want to interrupt.
Yo, give me the interview and the timestamp.
Yeah, Fresh is acting super feminine sassy right now.
Damn, bro, because I've been very consistent when it comes to my criticisms on black women. So I want to know precisely which interview and what timestamp I said this thing where I backpedaled as you claim.
Let's hear it.
Well, when you was okay, fine. When you was on No Jumper, I think they did bring up black women to you, and you saying, remember that situation.
Cookbay says, I'm kind of drawing a blank here. Who hosts the Flagrant again? That's gonna be Andrew Schultz and Akash Singh. That's the Indian comedian I couldn't think of last episode. Akash Singh and Flagrant, and it was on. You just type in Flagrant 2 Fresh and Fit, you'll see the podcast that they did, and it's one of the very first things that they say. They're like, what, you guys don't like black women. They're like, oh, this one again, so yeah, they literally go right into it. One of the first topics they talk about.
Back in the day with the black app, and y'all made that joke about Shaniquas and all that type of shit.
Yep,
that's what he's referring to. He's like, that's exactly what he was referring to.
Okay, so
they said it was just a joke. It wasn't. They're like, we were just joking. It wasn't it's not that serious. Like, we've dealt with black girls before.
Brought that up on No Jumper, and I just feel like when they brought it up, you should have just said like,
I got you, Coke Benny. I got you. Stuff like that I can recall because it's like I've seen that podcast multiple times, just because it comes up in my recommended all the time.
Bro, listen, man, they're cool, I mean, basically what you just told me, but I don't think that's what you said. You was like, oh, I don't have an issue with them. Like, I feel like you kind of like didn't like stand as firm as you typically would when you was on No Jumper and Flocko was pressing you.
Bro, number one, he didn't press anything. Number two, it was a joke though. Yo, are you familiar? Like,
we said on Flagrant too.
Yeah,
It was a joke.
yeah, we said that on Flagrant as well, because what happened was someone sent in a super chat, asked about the black thing, right? Similar call-in show actually to like this, and then we said, oh yeah, we don't dabble in the dark, and we're not Night Riders. David Hasselhoff. That's one of my jokes that I make all the time. It was a joke.
Okay.
So there you go, guys. He's just admitted to it. He was like, yeah, you guys didn't say it was joking, whatever. So that was it. That was the exact point of what he was talking about.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So you only have a joke about how you don't mess with black women, but you don't have that joke with any other race of women but them.
Bro.
Yo, have you not seen me insult other races of women? Are you serious?
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said the only women that you make a joke about not messing with them. So, for example, just now you said, we don't mess with black women, we're not Night Riders, right? You don't have a joke like that about any other race of women besides black women. And listen, to be clear here,
White women,
I'm not telling you that you're wrong for that.
Yo,
I'm just saying.
I've said that about Indian women too, bro. Like, I don't like Indian women either. I've said that before as well.
Ling Ling.
Wait, I don't remember him saying anything about Indian women. I know he said something about Indians in general, like Indians with a dot, is that they, I think he did say something about them smelling, but I have never heard him say anything about Indian women specifically.
Yeah, I've made jokes on Asian chicks like, bro, what are you trying to say? Bro,
I haven't heard him say any jokes on Asian girls either. The whole Ling Ling thing, that was specific to Daisy. That wasn't Asian girls as a whole. So yeah, I don't think that's not a point, Myron.
what is your point here, bro? What the fuck is your point here? Yo, I don't think you stand
I just made a point. My point is stand on your shit no matter where you at. That's my point. That's my point. No matter who's trying to shame you, no matter who's trying to press you about it, because they will, stand on your shit, bro. Don't change up just because you're getting,
Yo, you know
kind
what,
of
bro?
pressed a little bit.
With all due respect, bro, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. Because trust me, I stand on my shit 1,000%.
I just laughed at this one comment. It says, this guy has too much airtime. Hire him. They were saying the same thing about when I did my call, and they're like, dude, this guy should be replaced fresh. I remember somebody had commented that.
Far more than you'll ever fucking realize, man. I've gotten more arrows and people coming at me from different groups than you've ever had in your fucking life. You have the pleasure and the privilege right now.
Listen,
Hold
bro,
on,
you don't gotta get mad, bro. I understand how it could be overwhelming with people trying to shame you, bro. I get it, bro. I'm just saying, don't worry about it.
You don't get it, because here's the difference between me and you. You have the privilege of being able to call this show right now and be anonymous. Nobody knows who the fuck you are, and you can go back to your life. Nobody gives a shit about what you do or what you say. What I'm telling you is, I stand on what the fuck I say. Now, this particular instance.
Yeah, but Myron, you wanted this. You wanted this call-in show. You wanted people to call in with their critiques, their hates, and their debates. And it just seems like when you get that, you're like, wait a minute, you guys are. I don't understand why you guys watch. I don't understand why you guys hate. You guys hate watching all this stuff. Like, what do you want, man? It's like, this is entertainment for a lot of us, and it's just like it's wild how he has this stance about haters calling in, but he's like, no, we want haters. Can we get a hater on the line? He says that all the time.
Since you're talking about, it was a joke because we're laughing at the super chat that the nigga brought in and we added into the joke.
Yep.
That's why. So when you're sitting there saying, well, I don't think you stood all 10 toes on your opinion on black women when this situation came up. Yeah, because in that situation, it was a joke, bro. Like, I don't know what parasocial fucking relationship you have with watching the show or whatever. Like, no, whatever. But it's like, it's very simple, bro. In some situations, we're going to be joking around. Sometimes we're serious, whatever. But I'm not going to lie. Because if I sat there and said, I don't fuck with black women at all, I'd be lying to y'all. I do. It's just that it's a minority. And I have made fun of other races of women. I've made fun of Jewish women all the time. Indian women, all that shit, bro. So just because you haven't seen it or you haven't heard it doesn't mean that it hasn't happened, bro. I've been fairly consistent on all the interviews that I go on and say the same shit. So you might look at it a different way. That's fine, bro. Oh, I don't think you stood as tall as you should have. All right, bro. That's your opinion. But I think in this context with the David Hasselhoff joke and we don't dabble in the dark.
That's another way out of whatever argument that you may have towards these guys. they will now say that's your opinion. And I'm like, yeah, that's my opinion, but also like, what do you have to say against that besides stating that it was my opinion? I know that this is my opinion. So what else of it? You know, it's not a good counterpoint.
You want us to lie? It was a joke. It was us responding to a nigga that came in and gave a funny ass super chat. You know what I mean?
Yo, and
yeah.
how come you've been- how
Thank
come
you
it
for that,
seems-
Mo.
how come-
Yeah.
how come
Hold on. Are you aware of the fact that like I went super viral literally like 2 months ago for saying white women age like milk?
Yeah, and they killed you in the comments of that one, man. They were like, yeah, but I don't even remember everything they said, but Myron got cooked after he said that. And I don't know, I think it was definitely it was in a previous live stream. I don't know which one. For those of you that probably was watching me from the beginning, you do remember the segment of when I read through the tweets of what Myron said and then just the responses to that. It just got worse and worse. And yeah, white people, man, they answered back to Myron's little like white women age like milk. That was like they were like, yeah, well, I can't remember all of them, but yeah, it was good. White people, they stood their ground against Myron that day.
Yeah.
So come on, man.
Yeah, I seen that.
So then, bro, what are you talking about? Like, come on, man.
I'm not saying that you don't make jokes about other races. I'm saying you don't make jokes about not fucking with other races.
You just said that, bro.
There's a difference.
Full liar, bro.
There's a difference.
There's a difference?
There's a difference,
Now
bro.
it's a difference,
What's
bro.
the difference
All right,
between 10-14 and 10-12? That's the difference?
Bruh, this nigga, bro.
What he said is that you don't make jokes on women that you don't date, because you obviously made one about black women that we don't dabble in the dark. But he said that you don't have a joke for other races of women. Yes, you may joke about women, but you don't have joke about women that you don't date. In terms of that, like you could just say something like, I don't know, something as random as like women can't drive or whatever. Women belong in the kitchen making sandwiches and shit like that. But he doesn't like specifically target white women, because I mean, obviously he dates like Latinas and white women mainly. So yeah, I don't think that's a the caller has a point, is what I'm basically saying.
Oh.
The only difference is a
Bro, they
two-way
went after me on Twitter too. All the fucking white nationalist bitch ass niggas. Oh, you fuck this guy. He's a sad nigga. Because I made fun of a white chick for aging like milk. Come on,
damn,
bro.
that's crazy.
Come on, man.
Yeah, they was mad about that.
Okay,
but it sounds
bro,
like you've been
cook
kind of like
everybody.
somewhat
Cook everybody, bro.
backpedaling on tricking. You've been backpedaling on that tricking shit too, like because you know Coach Greg Adams, he promotes tricking. He promotes paying for pussy.
Yep.
And it seems kind of like you didn't really push back on that idea at all when y'all had that interview.
Let him do it, bro.
I'm not saying to stop him. I'm just saying like you didn't push back at all. You didn't give him a counter argument or anything.
Yeah, because Fresh and Fit, they are notorious for stating that they are salt daddies. They refuse to pay women, even though they will have to pay to be on these seeking arrangements websites. And you know, we all know that Walter pays for box whatever because that's the only way he can get it. But yeah, it's for them to have this strong stance on like, oh no, we don't pay for box, we actually just get these women to come to our podcast and all that stuff, whatever. Coach Greg Adams having this whole point like, no, it's just easier, just pay for box, whatever. And then what Fresh and Fit will say is that we should pay for box, we should, because our lives would be so much easier if we did. When I'm like, we know you do, though. We know that that should, at least we know half of the team does pay for box.
Bro, if that's what he does with women, because we've already talked about this. I've said it before. If you trick, you're not going to get a girl to respect you to the same level. But a lot of guys don't give a fuck about that. And I get it. Once you have some money, you don't want to deal with these bitches, fine. But, bro, what the hell? Like, that's his worldview. That's what he wants to do. Why is that my business?
Yeah, but he was saying, he was making absolute statements. He was saying like, well, you know, everybody pays, and that's the new way to get women is to pay for pussy, and if you're not paying for pussy, you're a bum. Like, he was saying things like that.
No, he said that all women are monetized and you're gonna have to pay in some way down the road. Look, bro, like Coach Greg,
literally at the end of the thing, Fresh asked him a question, and he said, because Fresh said, what do you say about people that say like you're paying for the box, da 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 da? And he said the only people that are against paying for box are broken people and shit like that, and broken women. That's what he said, which makes no sense. Because why would a woman be broken because she doesn't sell her pussy, or why would a man be broken because he doesn't want to pay for pussy? That makes no sense. If anything, it's the person selling their pussy that's broken. So that, to me, that made no sense, you know. And I just feel like you could have pushed back on that a little bit. I'm not saying to have an argument with him, but you know, something.
Nigga, are you done, bro?
Bro, like, yo, I'm telling you, man. Like, some of these niggas are parasocial, bro. Like that, like
I'm retarded, bro.
Like,
Holy
nigga,
shit.
Like, nigga, do you remember that when we did that interview?
Yeah. These little chime-ins from Fresh to me, like, yeah, you're retarded, are you done, and whatever. Like, yeah, I know you're done with this conversation because you're done getting cooked, or whatever. But the answer was the question was to Myron. You know, like, why didn't you, I don't know, share a counterpoint against Coach Greg Adams? But he didn't. He just kind of let him talk. And that's one thing that Myron has set a pattern for. Like, whenever there is a white man talking to him, he's not going to offer a resistance. He's just going to kind of like silently agree, you know? And it's kind of goes against what he stands for. And you would think, well, you think the way that he has energy for women, you think he would have energy for men too, that have a little bit of a life path that's different from his.
We did a whole fucking thing talking about the different decades of dealing with women, etc. That was like the most important part of the show. That's what we're focused on. Like, I'm not here to argue with the nigga about his personal views on whether he pays for box or not. The main point of the thing, if you actually watch that podcast, was talking about dealing with women in the 90s versus dealing with them in the 2000s versus the 2010s and then the 2020. We went over the evolution of dating in the West, in the United States specifically, during the different eras. That's what I was focused on, bro. Not whether he pays for box or not, nigga. Like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, honestly, like, I don't want to be an asshole, whatever. But like, you're over here. You're over here tripping
that
out.
he's considering paying for box. He said that. He said, I'm considering paying for box.
You're over here.
Well, I'm glad Fresh is being honest with us for once. And he's like, I'm considering paying for box. It's like, no, you're only saying that because you've been paying for box, and now you just don't want to be like off the, you want to be off the hook for it.
Tripping out over a part of the interview.
And also, we have to remember, we can never forget, when Myron and Fresh went to Romania to do the emergency meeting with the Tate brothers, Fresh said, if I'm making money and I'm successful, it's my choice if I want to pay for hookers and prostitutes. He said just that. And like, nothing brought that on. Okay. There was nothing in the conversation that brought that on, but Fresh just wanted to go ahead and say that. And we were just like, this is the money you guys are giving money to. These are the guys you're giving money to. And at least you know where your money's going. At least through Fresh. Exo Charles came back. I wish the caller watches your videos. You guys could team up to improve your debating arguments. Well, I mean, hopefully he sees this video and, you know, we can at least, I don't know. I mean, most of the time whenever I see like a hater video, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe we could start dissecting hater videos because, I mean, I do think that this guy had a good start, but he did devolve a little bit into ad hominems and then also weaker points. So now I also noticed that some of the, still the majority of the comments are still like, yeah, the caller's winning, the caller's already won, like W caller. Like, I'm hearing all of this and stuff, but then I'm also seeing people are like, oh, this is going on for too long, you know, like the point's over, can we do another caller? Like, this is, you guys have given this guy too much airtime. And so yeah, I think when things go on too long, I mean, look at Fresh, he's passing out over here. Like, this is way too long for him. Yeah,
that doesn't really matter. I'm talking about the evolution of dating, which Coach Greg was in a perfect position to give that because he's in his 50s.
He's older.
So I wanted to hear what he had to say about dealing with women in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, etc. That was a unique perspective that only someone like him could give. That's what I was focused on. Not arguing with the nigga about if he pays for pussy or not. Like, come on, man. Like, bro.
Yeah, but when you, here's the thing though, if you pay for box, how long has he been paying for box? Now that he's in his 50s, has he been doing it ever since his like 20s and 30s? You know, I mean, I would think that, you know, women are just kind of the same no matter what if you're paying for them, like in terms of paying for box like that. Whereas if you're actually getting them, you know, through a mouthpiece and picking them up and developing an actual relationship with these women, it's like I don't know. I guess when you're like focused on your career as a guy and you just don't want anything to interfere with that, you just use women as a tool, as just something to pleasure yourself for a little bit, and then you get back to business. Maybe that's just the way to the way they choose to do it.
So, just giving a slight counter argument is an argument.
Yes, nigga, it's an argument. If you stab somebody and it's
Wow.
like 1 inch in, whether you stab them all the way, you still stabbed them. That's not my point here. My job was.
Well, see, I don't know if a small counter argument is the same thing as like a little bit of knifing into somebody's body like that. I think you could have offered a different perspective and different from Coach Craig Adams instead of just silently agreeing. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Sonic says, when it comes to Myron, you can't win no matter what. You can bring even the most detailed facts, and Myron will move the goalpost. I think the main goal is just to win over the viewers. Yeah. And honestly, dude, that literally is very easy to do. The viewers that watch him, it seems like you're gonna have a good amount of people that are gonna freaking like side with you as long as you're on point. You're always gonna have those people that are gonna be ride or die for Fresh and Fit. This is an L collar. This is a broke boy or whatever. They'll be spamming that and stuff like that. But as long as you get the majority on your side with some lucid points, I think you'll do fine.
To go there and be like, oh yeah, let me push back on Greg about him paying for a box. Nigga, we don't care about that. I was focused on talking about dating in all the different decades because that is a unique perspective that only he can give. I'm not gonna wait.
Son came back. He says, would you go for first camp on your next call? Would you wait? Who would you go for first camp on your next call? Who would you go for first? Like between Myron and Fresh? On your next call. I mean, it's gonna be Myron. I mean, I've already fried Fresh already. I mean, the thing is, man, I've been sitting on these notes for the better part of a year, man, and I need closure. And I think once I have this closure, the circle will be complete and I can move on with my life.
Waste the opportunity, talk with Coach Greg on when I get the chance to talk to someone that's red pill aware, that's been alive for that long, to say, yeah, nigga, why do you pay for a box? No, bro, we understand it. And we actually, that week,
We understand it. We understand the utility of paying for box. Okay. You know, you understand it even though you're against it. Myron or Fresh? No, I think I would go for Myron first. Even though Myron, you know, like I said, I have to be a lot more calculated. That's why, you know, there's a lot of thought that's going into what I'm about to do, because the whole gap between my call and then the next call, they have to have this false sense of security. You know, they have to want to do a call-in show every week. You know, they want to get it back in the rotation and stuff. So yeah, like I definitely want, now they are in that zone now of doing 2 call-in shows a week on Friday and then another one on Monday. So I'm gonna get in at some point. It's gonna happen. So Sonic says, wait, you don't think you should try to win over the audience to soften them up? Because they're going to be resistant if you go for Myron. Well, that is true. But I think I might have mentioned to you my approach. K5, gotta go, take care. Have a good night, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, man. I'll see you on the next one. I think I might have mentioned to you, Sonic, that I'm going to kind of go in a little bit about the whole, I'm going to kind of ease my way in with like a t-shirt idea, you know, and just be like, hey, you know, I know you guys were talking about updating your merch and stuff. I actually work with a design firm that we could probably partner together and, you know, put a bunch of merch out for you guys, you know, maybe like this first batch that we can do, I can do like 10 designs for you just for free, see how they sell, whatever like that. And you don't have to pay me. Like, I just want to be able to help you guys, whatever. You're like, oh, very cool. And then, you know, I start going into the whole designs or whatever I got right now. But then also, there's another couple things that I want to touch on as well. you know, depending on how soon I get on to the call, maybe there's a couple haters that got on before. I can kind of be like, yo, man, these you gotta get some better haters, man. These haters are fucking losers, bro. And just kind of like lull them into a false sense of security, and then and then freaking hit them with whatever I got. But yeah, I think the thing would be to just make it a slow burn, kind of like what I did with Fresh. But I don't know. I kind of can't. Well, some people's perspective of my call at Fresh, they're like, "Yo, you came in swinging," but I think there's a different approach you got to take with Fresh than would you have to take with Myron. I think it would be a completely different approach, and yeah. So, but no, I mean, this guy won over the audience, going at Myron, but he was still inadvertently going at Fresh. No, he was directly going at Fresh. Let's be honest. But no, it was well done. It was well done.
Talked about why niggas pay for box.
Yep.
Some guys do it, some guys don't. Me and Fresh can't do it because we just can't. We I don't know. We just can't bring ourselves to do it.
Yeah.
But we ain't gonna kill somebody or attack somebody for doing it. Let them do it, bro.
No.
How about this? How about you go call on Greg's show since you want this pushback so much, nigga?
Yeah.
Call onto his show.
You tell him.
And you tell him. How about that? Because I wasn't concerned with this shit when I
Fresh
talked to him.
agreed with him though. Fresh agreed with him, and Fresh even said he's considering
bro.
being a trick.
Let's get the next nigga on the line, bro. Like, there's no satisfying this nigga, bro.
Yeah.
He's one of these
He
guys,
did.
bro.
Yo, he said he's considering being a trick.
Bro, if you can't tell a joke, bro, you're retarded, bro.
Oh, see, now he's gonna hide behind. Oh, it was a joke. I wasn't being serious, man. But see, that's the thing. If he's not a joke, he was just trolling. So, but yeah, so. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of this one. I don't know if there's much that goes on after this, but we can finish it up.
You call me stupid, bro. You're retarded.
This nigga, bro.
This nigga dumb, bro. Holy
Call
shit.
onto How about this? You go ahead and push back on Greg.
I think
How about
Fresh
this?
is an undercover trick, and he just lied to the audience.
Yo. Coach Greg, I think he interacts with the audience and shit. How about this? You watch one of his streams and you push back, nigga. Because that wasn't the focus of the interview for me. I wanted to get his perspective. Because he's an OG. I want to get his perspective on the different decades of dating. And I think the audience got way more.
I love this comment. Fresh is big mad. It reminds me of Saint the Sinner.
More value from that versus talking about paying for pussy, bro. Since you have such a big issue with this, you call in and push back then. How about that?
Okay, but do you condone paying for pussy? Yes or no?
Nigga, I just told you I don't do it.
But
You don't do it, but you condone it. So that's a yes, Myron.
do you condone it?
If he wants to do it, that's him.
That's a yes, Myron. Don't see. That's a yes or no question. And I would have pushed. I would have, if that was my question, I would have been like, just yes or no, man. I mean, from your answer, that's a yes. That's what I would say.
See, this is why I know you don't watch the show. Because we say all the time. You mean
Fuck off, Fresh. Fuck off, man. This guy obviously watches the show. He has all these points prepared because he watches the show. I would have been like, fuck off.
money to do what you want to do. You have the knowledge. You can do what you want. It's up to you.
Yo, you
Oh, see, that's kind of the parallel point of what he said on the Tate podcast, whatever, the emergency meeting, is that, look, if I make the money and I have the means to do what I want to do, sure, I'll the money, he could put the money towards the prostitutes and escorts and stuff. And yeah, Fresh came out and said that, and it was clear as day.
Tripping out on fucking CJ right now, bro. Shit crazy.
I'm not even tripping on CGA though. I'm just talking about the idea.
Kava says Fresh needs to be quiet. Yeah, he needs to just he needs to ride it out now, because the guy's not cooking him anymore. He's addressing Myron, and it would be best for him just to be
Still
quiet.
paying pussy. I was just using CGA as the last time it was brought up. But forget about CGA. I'm just saying in general, do you condone people paying for pussy, people in your audience paying for pussy? Like, do you condone that?
I don't do it. I don't like it because I know what it does. But if other people want to do it, let them do it, bro. Because a lot of people don't give a fuck about a bitch respecting them. So they just want to smash. Cool. Go ahead and do what you want to do.
But don't you think it's contributing to the horror culture by paying for pussy?
You wasted way too much time, bro.
All right, so that's it. We're gonna end that hater call. He did a good job. Unfortunately, I don't know what his name and stuff. I don't know if he has any type of social media, whatever. But if he gets a call on again, whatever, maybe he gets his name off, we can probably see what that's all about. But let's finish up what I was going to show you. The last thing I'm going to show you guys, and then we're going to get off because I have like 6 more minutes and this thing has to end, is going to be Rollo Tomasi. This is the last thing. Rollo Tomasi has now been... I mean, we were talking about betrayals and backstab and people. We all know that Rollo Tomasi, he likes to throw shots at Fresh and Fit. And we're collecting it all on Reddit right now.
Aim
So
on
hold on.
a table
This
of
is
women.
part 3. Hold on, let me see if I can go to my saved here. Let's see. Go to the save videos here. There we go.
No matter what.
All right, let's find it.
I would.
I
Okay,
think it's a
that's-
little bit suspect that, well, suspect. I think it's a little weird. Let's just say that they come to Florida and they haven't done Myron and Fresh's show yet.
Yeah.
Like, why? He did Patrick Bet David's show right fresh off the plane. Has he done anything?
Yeah,
else?
the
Did he do
first-
any other ones
Ooh, shit.
in Florida when he was in Miami?
The very first podcast he did, PBD, like almost immediately. Then he did, I can't remember the other ones, whatever. But yeah, he did that PBD like almost right away. And I was like, huh, you think he would have done Fresh and Fit at some point? But no, he did every other podcast but Fresh and Fit.
I mean, he almost immediately goes to
Cabo says, I'm glad you're reacting to this. Are you going to react to all parts? Yes, I am. Because they're kind of short.
And then comes to Vegas, does Jake Shields' show, does the twins, the Hodge twins.
Yep.
Wasn't answering our calls, didn't want to, and Mike had to like go out. Mike took one picture with them. He's all smiles, and these guys are just like,
He did the Full Send podcast.
yeah. Oh, what else? Full Send? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He did
The Nelk.
yeah, and he did what's his name? Anyways, he did shows here. He didn't do all
So Andrew Tate completely bypassed all of the Red Pill podcasts. He did all of the other ones that had, like pretty good followings, and didn't really dabble in the Red Pill. And yeah, it was. I mean, he did do the Hodge twins, whatever. That was a good one. And I mean, I watched that whole thing. And yeah, he did his little podcast tour, and then he got back on the plane, went back to Romania.
wouldn't come on with us. And I don't know if that's because he didn't want to or whatever, but like I said, I've just been Tate agnostic. I know enough about the facts. I know enough about the case. And again, I'm just like sitting and waiting. And I don't see why that's a problem. And I don't see why anybody else wouldn't be doing exactly the same thing.
And I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a post that Rollo Tomasi did where he was like sitting in this big chair. It was kind of like a little meme post where he was like this big chair, big statue guy, and then everybody else in the Red Pill was basically like bowing to Rollo Tomasi, and Andrew Tate was in the group of people that was bowing to Rollo Tomasi. I'm like, okay, this guy's delusional. Lincoln said Andrew Tate is playing it safe. Absolutely. I don't think that Fresh and Fit would have been a good look for him, especially if he's on a he's being tried for trafficking women and stuff like that, to be on a podcast with a bunch of women and stuff. No, I think he was playing chess that whole time.
Sean Kelly.
Yeah, Sean. I've been on with Sean Kelly. He goes on with Sean Kelly. Okay, cool, but we're here too. I mean, it's not like I would have put him on the spot or like given him shit or anything like that. I would just love to have him in and talk to him, because he's never been to Vegas. Like, as far as I know, he's never been to Vegas, right? I've never seen him in Vegas. I'm sure he's probably been here before, but like not in quite some time.
Yep. Sorry, Rollo. You did not get to be part of that whole thing.
An Alpha would walk. We had,
so
we
this
had
is
Myron in here.
This is part 1. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw the Fresh and Fit podcast that was done in Las Vegas for Access Vegas. I don't know if I did the clip of that one, but basically Myron kind of like he took that he hosted the show, and there was a girl that was, he ended up kicking off, that was sitting right next to him and stuff. He booted her off. I think they brought in another girl, and then he booted her off. And this is now Rollo Tomasi speaking on that situation. So here we go.
On a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and kicked a lot of these girls off. And one of the things I think that a lot of people don't understand about Access Vegas versus Fresh and Fit is that Mike and I have sort of a charter here where our intent with the show is to do something different, not to kick. We don't have an express mandate to kick girls off the show. Now, we have had in the past, we've been going for almost 3 years now. We have had in the past girls who have walked off the show on their own, because they were offended or they didn't like the conversation, whatever. Probably maybe a handful, maybe 2, I think, that I can recall. If they get up and walk on their own, and nothing we can really do about that. But our express purpose of Access Vegas is not to kick the girls off the show.
Yeah. I've probably seen maybe like 1 or 2 episodes of the Access Vegas, and both times Fresh and Fit were hosting. I never really watched them when it's just Rollo Tomasi and Mike Sartain. I kind of find Rollo Tomasi a little boring. And Mike Sartain, he's always just like hitting everybody with facts and statistics and everything. He loves to talk about his time and, when he was, flying helicopters and everything like that. So I'm just I'm not too interested in their whole approach and the way they do things. Lincoln says, do you think Andrew might be guilty? I think he is. Okay. I think he's guilty of sleeping with underage girls. I think the whole thing about like luring girls out there to possibly be in a relationship to use them to get them to do webcam and everything like that. I think that's all true. Yeah. He did. I mean, he had a whole course on how to do that. And, he was like, no, he's like, I don't really want these women, but I do want to get them to work for me so I can make a lot of money and everything. So I do think he's guilty of that. And then also skimming off the top, taking the majority of the money, claiming that, the money would be to pay for taxes and everything. Then after that, it's 50-50, when really he was taking like, if they made 10,000, he would keep 7 and give them the rest. So yeah, I definitely think he's guilty of a few things in terms of sex trafficking. The fact that he was on, where was he on? Which podcast was he? No, it wasn't. It was when he first got. No, where was he at? He said somewhere. Andrew Tate said somewhere that, I don't know. I think he said it to Candace Owens. He's like, I don't understand what they think they have on me. It's like, I wipe my phone every night. I was like, why would you say that? Don't say that. And it's like, what are you trying to hide? So I just like, no, that's definitely I think he's definitely guilty of something, but he's also very good at parsing out his words. So yeah. Exo Charles says, do you think Tate looks down on Fresh and somewhat respects Myron? He didn't come onto the show because of the lawsuit. He has to be careful of who he talks when he talks about women. True. I think, unless the woman is like Candace Owens, whatever, I think he did the majority podcasts were all like men and stuff. Cause he was just like, he doesn't want to have to be, mixed in and have like crash out moments and stuff like that. I think it wouldn't be a good look for him. So Big ol', welcome to the stream, sir. I don't know who you are, but it's nice to meet you. Will you attend the boxing match? I don't think the boxing match is happening. It was actually over before the ink on my thumbnail was dry, unfortunately, of this video. Not Myron. Fresh has actually, he's come forward. He said he's going to explain on the Fresh Start podcast why the boxing match might not happen. I think he's trying to push it off on like Chris Pavlovsky, the CEO of Rumble, saying that, he's not going to allow him to box, when we're like, I don't think that's true. I think you're just trying to make an excuses to weasel out of the boxing match. Either way, Sneeko is going to be training for it, but and he's full steam ahead if he wants to go ahead with it. But he's already called it that Fresh is going to back out, which it seems like that's what he's doing right now. So I won't attend the boxing match because I mean, it's probably going to be televised if it does happen, and I'll just catch it that way. Lincoln says the underage one is really convincing. Well, yeah, because I mean, what's his main girl? His main girl, he said he was with for like 5 or 6 years, and then he ended up stumbling and saying that she was like 24. No, it was 24, 19, something like that. So then you take away like, I think it was like 5 years, something like that. So it meant that she was like, 4 years, whatever. So it meant that she was like 15 when he met her. And I think he was like 30 something, like 33, 34. So yeah, it's kind of bad. But then I guess, he's hiding behind that the age of consent in other countries are like 16, 17 or whatever. And that's okay. But I think when you're a U.S. citizen, I think you're beholden to our rules, our age of consent, which is 18. So, but yeah. And I think also he said on his podcast, he was talking to a girl, I think that was in school, like high school. And she's like, she had mentioned, I guess in their chats, whatever, she's like, I'm 16 years old. He's like, I don't give a fuck. He was like, dude, come on, man. I saw a whole compilation of like all this incriminating stuff that Andrew Tate has said when it comes to like underage girls. And yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all.
And I think a lot of people make that mistake when we have Myron and Fresh on here, who obviously that is a big deal with Fresh and Fit. Same thing with Brian from whatever podcast he follows. Maybe he doesn't kick them off as often as Fresh and Fit, but that's definitely part of the mandate. Now, we don't have staff. 9 times out of 10, it's just me, Mike, and Travis here, and maybe Nico is in the back with some booze like that. He's here to get us our drinks, right? And we don't have people to walk girls off the show. We don't have security. We've never needed security. We don't have people to say, hey, come with me. In fact, I felt pretty lucky that we did that one night because I had Jake Cope here, who is my drummer in Jinx, and he happened to be here. And I texted him. I said, can you walk this girl off? And we did. Now that was one of like 3 girls or 4 girls that got kicked that night. And I'm not going to say that like 1 or 2 of them didn't deserve it. Like, you know, when you get confrontational and you get like, and you're like 3 White Claws in, yeah, I get it. Right. Usually on our show on Access Vegas, that leads to a lot of crosstalk, and we have to sort of like shut the girls up. And I feel like I need like a referee's whistle or something like that to interrupt. In fact, I might even do that. I need gavel. Yeah, boom, boom, boom.
Judge gavel.
Yeah, exactly. I need something to
Don't
sort of break the.
Don't do the gavel. Don't do that. It's just like it's gonna be really awkward. I'm just gonna skip ahead of this a little bit because like I'm literally getting put to sleep with him. For some reason, I just can't focus whenever Rolo's on screen. But yeah, he definitely doesn't agree with Myron, I guess, having contention and kicking people off and everything. Even though he says some girls deserve it, he's like, you're not holding women accountable if you're kicking them from the table. There's no way to hold them accountable if they're gone. Gabo says, hey, Camp, did you hear about John Gatto from Impractical Jokers being accused of grape? No. And I watched the Impractical Jokers. I did not hear that. Interesting. Wow. That must have just happened because I haven't heard anything about that. That's the thing, man. Like, yeah, if you're famous, dude, it's like there's gonna be someone that will come forward and yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's like a fear of mine, but I'm just saying, like, you know, yeah, you got to be careful. You're out in the limelight, you're making money and stuff like that. And then, yeah, there's always going to be a woman. Just be careful out there because you mess with the wrong woman, man. All she's got to say, she can retract that consent and then you're in trouble. So,
the crosstalk observed what she
skip ahead of this.
Not just Fresh and Fit, but also whatever podcast. I've really turned into what I would define as a humiliation ritual. And I mean it and I know that's a trendy kind of thing right now. Oh, this is a humiliation ritual. I think so in the sense that the express purpose is to kick the girls off the show.
Cabo says, yeah, the girl who is accusing him made a video. Would you be willing to react to it? I could send it to you if you aren't too tired. Yes, go ahead and send it to me. I don't know. Are you part of my Discord? If you send it to me in Discord, I can watch it that way. I don't know if you're connected to me with Instagram or whatever. I can watch it that way too. So, yeah, I have about like maybe 4 more minutes. I don't know how long it is, but I got about 4 more minutes. I gotta go after this because I got some stuff I gotta do, unfortunately. So, but yeah, just the gist of this. They're starting to sling shots at Myron and Fresh and Fit as a whole, basically. Kicking off girls, and it's turning into a humiliation
on Fresh and Fit
ritual. So let's go to part 2. Rolo once again takes shots at Fresh and Fit. After hours turned into a humiliation ritual. So let's listen to this one real quick.
and sit somewhere else. Insulting women isn't good game. Fighting with them, you just end up going in
Kawa says, I don't have Discord, but I can send it on Reddit. Yeah, just send it to me on Reddit. I'll check it out.
circles. This isn't what you taught us. This isn't the red pill. Well, thank you. I appreciate, dude. You know what? You get this. Thank you for that. I'm glad somebody gets it. Because I'm sick to death, honestly, of like listening to people go, oh man, you and Mike are so weak. You'll never kick those girls off the show. Yeah, you're right. That's not what the fucking show's about. And if you want that, then go watch Fresh and Fit. If you want that, go watch whatever podcast. If you get off on watching girls being humiliated, because it's not holding them accountable. It's maybe in the first, maybe in the beginning, maybe in the first 2 years, that was the impetus is why we're going to hold these girls accountable, and that's going to work. Now it's become so formulaic and such a fucking template right now that it's
Yeah, this is what I agree with Rolo here, is that at least in terms of Fresh and Fit, it's almost like it's orchestrated chaos to create a disagreement or say something just, to make the girls like react and then get them to crash out so that you can kick them out. And yeah, because it's like if it doesn't happen, or I think what Myron is constantly doing is checking the numbers of people that are viewing and everything. And I think whenever he notices like a dip in his audience, he's just like he crashes out. He crashes out in order to get people to watch again. So yeah, it is formulaic. So I do agree with that. Let's finish watching
it's
this.
expected. That's a humiliation.
Okay, so you just sent it to the Reddit. Okay, I'll check that. Exo Charles, gotta bounce camp. Thanks for another banger stream. Good night, everybody. Exo Charles, I appreciate you stopping through, man. Have a good night. And I'll see you guys on the next one, man. Peace.
We've gone past the accountability. I don't think it was ever accountability to begin with, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. That's not accountability anymore. You can't hold a woman accountable if she's not sitting at the table.
Yeah, that's basically what I said. I mean, it is a little feminine to, tell the person to get out, like usually men, we're not willing to like walk away. I mean, we'll walk away if like we have to avoid a conversation, but I think it's more of a, to cool off and solve it. But I think in terms of a podcast, I think you would want to retain your guests on the podcast so you can actually talk things out and have more communication. Because I think if we're trying to help men be better men, I think communication is at the forefront of all of that. Sonic said, "Good night, exhales." Okay. Oh, that autocomplete
That's not
strikes
my show.
again.
It's the Fresh and Fit show. It's not Access Vegas at that point.
So would you say that Myron kind of cucked Rolo a little bit on his own show and took it over? And I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little bit of it's a kind of a beta move to have complaints about something and not say something in the moment of it. I guess, Rolo is like, I don't want to have a conflict with Myron on the show in front of strangers. I think I would rather just say it on my own podcast away from Myron. I don't know.
Help guys.
Not very rational.
Like right in the real world, boots on the ground, face to face, fucking where the rubber meets the road. I don't know. Let me find some other euphemism, right? Because I'm sick to death of people saying, well, the red pill's long on rhetoric and short on fucking solutions. Okay, I give you a fucking solution. I'm saying I want to do something more constructive. And you guys go, no, you guys need to kick girls off. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Well, I mean, that's how he feels about it. So, I mean, I don't know. I think if Fresh and Fit and Access Vegas ever like collaborate again, I think they need to kind of like say it in the beginning. They're like, look, we're not going to be kicking any girls off. All right. We're going to have a mature conversation. If things get contentious, women, you're definitely welcome to leave if you like, but we're going to do our best to be adults about this whole thing and actually have a conversation. Kava says, I wonder why Myron feels like he can just kick the girls out when he goes to Vegas. If Rolo has an issue with it, someone must have given him the okay to do that. Well, I know Myron, he went ahead and said, he's like, I know you guys are, used to Rolo and Mike and stuff like that, but we run our show completely different. He said that in the show when he was like kicking girls off. He's like, look, we don't stand for that bullshit and everything. So yeah, I mean, he basically just, Myron just kind of like steel man the whole thing, and it was like, yo, like this is the way we run shit. If you don't like it, you can go. And yeah, that was he pretty much established his dominance right then and there. And Mike and Rolo, they just kind of sat there. They just kind of like took it. They're like, okay, I guess he's steering the ship. Which I was like, this is your show though. They're just guests in your house.
I'm gonna do what I'm gonna fucking do, and I'm gonna do something that's productive and constructive. I'm gonna do something that's positive. You guys these girls, they don't know any better. We need better women. I try to make better women. No, you want to fucking kick them off. That's what you want to fucking do. You don't want better women. You want more. You want more 304s. You want more ratchet hoes to kick off the fucking show. And you know what? They're drying up. The pool of ratchet hoes is not limitless. The well is run. The milk done spoiled.
Yeah. So I mean, let's see. I think there's one more part to this. Go to it.
I'd rather watch Fresh and Fit run game on a table of women to teach guys how to do it. Yeah. Well, do they ever teach game?
This is actually a really good point Rolo is making. We saw Myron and Fresh on Sneeko's stream do an E-date, and they crashed and burned, both of them. Myron pushed her away. He basically people were calling it interrogation game, and it was just like, dude, I don't know what you're doing, dude. This is bad. I don't think she's going for you. And then Fresh, he just ended up in the friend zone, so I would call that a fail as well. So I would say, these guys they're not the ladies' men that you think, and they both don't have any mouthpieces at all. So, but no, it would be interesting to see them do like an infield of like picking up girls and seeing just how their game was and everything like that. But we all know that Myron has now, he's told us all now that he is an introvert. He doesn't know how to do anything. And yeah, it's bad. Lincoln, wait for real. Yeah, it is true. I mean, if you got to go on Rumble, I think you type in Sneeko Fresh and Fit E-date, and then you'll find it. It's on Rumble. Calvo says, by the way, Camp, the allegation video is 10 minutes long. Not sure if it's too long for you. Oh, I'm actually already gone over already. He's like, I might have. Yeah, I'm like 4 minutes over already, but maybe I can check it out in the after the stream is over, and I can watch it, because yeah, I do have stuff to go. I have to go. But no, that's basically this whole point that he says in like the first 8 seconds is pretty much the whole thing. Prophetic, welcome to the stream. How are you? Walter and Myron are both beta pump faking as alpha sigmas. Bro, I know. We know. They'll claim, though, they say, like, we never called ourselves alpha males. We never called ourselves high value males. And, but yeah, I would say your actions will say otherwise.
Has there ever been a video? Have they ever done any kind of special thing where they actually go into the clubs and talk about it? I don't even think so.
Myron, for one, can't go out like that because he doesn't do clubs, and then he just doesn't leave his house. He has to be in his safe place, because he has so many haters. People, they see him outside, dude. People are going to be freaking gunning for Myron. And Fresh, yeah, I mean, Fresh, I don't know. I don't know if he would ever go out and do that and try to pick up game, whatever like that, or show that he has a game, because I think he would crash and burn, and we'd see what was real.
Do they even know? Like, does do any of these guys know game? Like, I know Mike does, because Mike runs immersion for MOA. That's basically all he does.
See, I would love to see Rolo on Fresh and Fit asking Myron and Fresh, hey, do you guys even have any game? But they're never going to do this. Rolo gets really quiet around Myron, especially when they do like the Avengers episodes where they have like everybody in there. They don't take him to task like this. But Rolo is perfectly fine at singling shots at Fresh and Fit on his own show when he's away from them.
It's even formal game, even old school pickup. Like Mike talks about that and hell, like he's got video after video about it. We get into like the nuts and bolts of what, like if you've read my 5th book, The Player's Handbook, I get into why game works. Not
So that's the credentials that Rolo will basically say, like, hey, my books are all about game and approaching women and all that stuff like that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this evening. I do want to thank everybody for joining. And yeah, unfortunately, the boxing match between Sneeko and Fresh it's up in the air, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it now that it's not happening. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I do want to thank everybody for joining me. Thank you so much. I will be ready with another video with you guys next week. Hope you guys have a good evening. Prophetic Rolo's boots are just descriptions. That's the problem. Alrighty then, Camp. Thank you for the hosting the stream, bro. Yeah, thanks, Sonic. Appreciate you coming out. Thanks for all the hustlers for joining me. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. You guys have a wonderful evening. Prophetic, it doesn't tell you what to do because they need to make money off of you and your courses. That's true. It has to be all behind a paywall. So we got to get your money first. These guys are scammers, man. We know this. We know this. But yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. And my button's not working. Oh, there it is. It's working now. But yeah, yeah, you guys take care. And I'll see you guys on the next one. This is Camp Hustle 1. Out.